Chapter 358. Soon, Long Yu and the other three turned a corner and saw a dozen people fighting fiercely in the passageway ahead. 4 or 5 of them were cultivators of the secret realm of heavenly beings, and the others were martial arts practitioners of the 9th true spirit. They were all disciples of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Only disciples of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate could work together to pass the stairs to the 4th level. Most of the other martial arts practitioners who participated in the selection of Heavenly Mandate saints could only search for treasures on the 3rd level. If they wanted to go to the 4th level, they would have to wait until all the withered beasts on the stairs were killed by the others. The group of people who were fighting seemed a little surprised by the arrival of Long Yu and the other three, but they did not panic. I say, since there are others here, why don't we work together to kill them first? A ruthless man with a real spirit of direwolf behind him looked at Long Yu and the other three and said plainly, "Direwolf, today we must decide who wins and who loses. As for the others, let the others deal with them." Another tall and handsome young man with a high nose said coldly. He raised his hand, and the golden light of the fight character spread out and attacked the ruthless man with the real spirit of Direwolf. "You are really stubborn." Direwolf's mouth curled up, and his eyes were bloodthirsty, but he did not care about Long Yu and the others. He focused on dealing with the attacks of the golden light of the divine characters. The two of them were fighting, but the other disciples of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate stopped and looked at Long Yu and the other three with vigilance. It looks like they are very confident that they can take us down, but they still insist on fighting among themselves when they see us. The fat eater laughed and said, "Then let's wait for these two to finish fighting before we go." Xuelan and Mo Shang did not say a word and carefully observed the situation. As for Long Yu, his attention was already focused on the battle between the two. The secret realm of heavenly beings is the state of being one with heaven and man. Simply put, it is to be in harmony with the world, as Long Yu observed. He thought to himself, this world has over 9,000 types of laws. As long as one is completely compatible with one of them and comprehends the laws, they will be able to step into the realm of being one with the world. The celestial realm is the stage where one continuously explores and comprehends the power of the laws of heaven and earth. At this stage, although the power of the divine symbols is slightly stronger, it is only a support. If one wishes to continuously advance on the path of martial arts, one can only rely on the comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. Long Yu could clearly sense that the laws of heaven and earth comprehended by all the martial cultivators in the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda were weakened. For example, the reverence eagle had not unleashed the power of the laws of the universe that he had comprehended. This was because he knew that the power of the laws of the universe he unleashed in the ancient dragon skeleton tower would be much weaker than outside. In this case, the most effective way to fight in the ancient dragon bone tower was undoubtedly the divine text. The laws of heaven and earth are the laws of this world, the heavenly mandate continent, or the Shenwu world. Does that mean that the space within the ancient tower of dragon bones is no longer considered the Shenwu continent? This is a space from another world. Long Yu quickly thought of this. If that was the case, it was easy to understand. The laws of heaven and earth were powers that belonged to this world. Once they left this world, they would be weakened or even completely unusable. However, the divine symbols were powers that belonged to all worlds. Once one comprehended the divine symbols, even if they left this world, they would still possess powerful battle prowess. This ancient tower is really too disgusting. If it wasn't for the fact that I can't unleash the laws of heaven and earth that I have comprehended, you would have died by my hands long ago. The tall and mighty young man snorted as the battle progressed. Haha, are you joking? Even if I'm not in this ancient tower, I can still unleash the laws of heaven and earth that I have comprehended. Who's afraid of who? The direwolf true spirit behind the ruthless young man howled, and the direwolf true spirit continued to bite at the tall and burly young man. The battle between the two of them was not very exciting. If it were Long Yu, he would have been able to defeat one of them easily. However, their comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth was indeed much deeper than Long Yu's. In the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, Long Yu could only use the power of the Netherworld Chi. The power of other laws, such as the Taiyin laws, was greatly weakened. Oh, right. The Netherworld laws are known as the strongest laws in this world. How can they be used outside this world? What kind of power is this, and what does it have to do with the fallen dragon of Netherworld? Long Yu suddenly thought of this. He could now confirm that the Netherworld laws were definitely not one of the over 9,000 laws in this world. Instead, they were a special kind of power. Although they were known as the strongest laws, it seemed more appropriate to think of them as the power of the divine symbols. The divine symbols could be derived into laws. The Yu, character, and the Netherworld laws should be complementary existences. The Yu character was the source, while the Netherworld laws were the manifestation of the laws in this world. At this thought, Long Yu became even more interested in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. This ancient Dragon Bone Tower was so compatible with the power of the Yu character. Who had built it? If one were to say that this ancient pagoda existed naturally, Long Yu would definitely not believe it. Such a building seemed to be a place used to imprison withered branch mutated beasts. It was definitely man-made. The Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was unable to build such a building. They had only found this ancient tower in the Tiangang level. Every 7 years, the strange beasts in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower would regrow in countless numbers due to the presence of the mother of the strange beasts. At the same time, some special ores, herbs, and so on would be produced in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. The Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was only making use of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. They could not take it for themselves. Not to mention, the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm could not even open the second and higher levels of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. They could only wait for 7 years. It was evident that the ancient Dragon Bone Tower was rather mysterious to the Northern Academy. Moreover, no one had ever gone up to the 7th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower and come down. It's much more difficult to break through to the heavenly realm in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower than in the outside world. This is because I can't feel the power of the laws of heaven and earth and become one with them. However, if I look at it from another perspective, can I rely on the laws of the 9 serenities to enter the heavenly realm? Long Yu thought to himself, it was a pity that his understanding of the laws of the 9 serenities was only at the level of the will. Above the will were the 3 levels of charm, power of heaven and earth, and domain. It was not easy to comprehend all of them. Laws of Yin, laws of thunder, laws of heaven suppression. I can't feel any of them at all. I can only use the powers in my body. Long Yu shook his head. It seemed like he had underestimated the difficulty of entering the heavenly realm. At the very least, it would be difficult for him to do so in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Since that was the case, seizing as many treasures as possible became Long Yu's main goal for the time being. It seems like we won't be able to determine a winner. Why don't we get rid of those small fries first? The ruthless young man from the direwolf real spirit glanced at Long Yu and smirked. That's right, I agree. These guys have been watching us for so long. It's time for them to suffer. The group consisted of 5 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and 7 martial arts cultivators of the rank 9 True Spirit. All of them smirked and walked towards Long Yu's group of 4. To them, outsiders had no right to interfere in matters between the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Of course, they were extremely disgusted by the fact that there were others trying to take advantage of them while they were fighting. 3 of them were at the initial realm, and 1 was at the rank 9 True Spirit. A lineup like that of Long Yu's group of 4 was not much of a threat to them. Furthermore, they were disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Be it their martial arts techniques or weapons, they had an advantage over Long Yu's group. Of course, that was only what they thought. I'll take one. The fat eater chuckled and was the first to speak. He dashed out and attacked the ruthless young man who had released the direwolf real spirit. And Mo Shang, who came from a shadow goblin royal family, did not say a word, but his figure dissipated like fog. When he reappeared, he was already like a fog, surrounding the tall and sturdy young man, and launching an attack on him. "You guys are good. You left the other 3 for me?" Shualan laughed softly. "Fine, I'll play hide and seek with them first." She was definitely no match for them in a 1 versus 3 fight. However, she was confident that she could use her speed to fight them to the end. As for the remaining rank 9 true spirit disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, Shualan, Eater, and Mo Shang all clearly felt that Long Yu had a way to deal with them. "Capture that girl first." With a shout from Direwolf, the 3 remaining early human stage experts immediately charged towards Shualan. "So you're saying this rank 9 true spirit fellow belongs to us?" The remaining 7 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm all chuckled. One of them laughed greedily. "This person is a great enemy of Senior Brother Xuanji. Do you think Senior Brother Xuanji would want us to kill him or capture him alive?" "Capture him alive. No matter what, this kid is still the grandson of the headmaster. It's not good for us to attack him." The 7 of them surrounded Long Yu as they closed in on him. All of them had malicious smiles on their faces. When they saw that Long Yu did not move, they were all confused. However, they did not care. No matter how strong Long Yu was, he was only a rank 9 true spirit cultivator. With the 7 of them working together, they could even put up a fight against a human initial stage expert. Underworld Realm. As Long Yu faced the 7 people, he could feel that they were different from ordinary rank 9 true spirit cultivators. The aura on each of them was extremely strong. They were definitely on par with Tian Yutian. In other words, all 7 of them were practically invincible existences below the Heaven Realm. However, Long Yu was definitely stronger than them. Much, much stronger. Chapter 359. In the realm of the underworld, all the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm felt a strong suppression, which made them only able to use less than 80% of their strength. The disciples of the Heavenly Realm were fine, but the 7 martial arts practitioners of the rank 9 True Spirit had their strength suppressed by more than 30%, which made them feel extremely uneasy. Kill. Long Yu had no time to care about their feelings. After releasing the realm of the underworld, he punched the ground. Suddenly, several 9 underground chi pillars condensed under the ground and suddenly burst out. The target of Long Yu's attack was the 7 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. When a 9 underground blast erupted, the 7 martial arts practitioners of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm reacted almost at the same time. Dod! The 7 of them could feel that they were unable to block Long Yu's attack. Even if they were invincible under the Heavenly Realm, it seemed that they were not enough to fight against Long Yu. It is not difficult to condense several 9 underground blasts in the Dragon Bone Tower at once. It seems that this ancient tower is indeed related to the Dragon Seal of the 9 underground. Long Yu thought in his heart as he vigilantly scanned his surroundings. Of the 7 rank 9 true spirit martial cultivators, 2 of them were killed on the spot by the 9 nether explosion. As for the other 5, although they did not die, they were heavily injured. Each of them staggered and fell to the ground, looking at Long Yu in fear. So strong, just one move, they all thought so, and then looked to the side, to the 3 cultivators of the Heavenly Mandate Realm who were chasing after Shualan for help. "You killed the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm?" The 3 of them looked back and sneered. "Since this chick can run fast, we'll kill this brat first and avenge our junior brothers." The 3 suddenly changed their direction and quickly attacked Long Yu. A beam of golden light from the divine script broke through the air, accompanied by the power of 2 Xian Jade-level laws of heaven and earth. Even for the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, the earthly seal level Heavenly Steel law was something rare. It was not easy to obtain a Heavenly Steel, but Black Jade level laws were not something difficult for them to obtain. All the disciples of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate could easily cultivate and comprehend Black Jade level laws. After all, the heritage of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate was much deeper than that of the Tang Empire. Even the Tang Empire had 3 cultivation methods of Xuanje-level laws, let alone the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Yellow Springs Barrier. Long Yu raised his hand, and the netherworld chi instantly condensed in front of him. After stepping into the 4th level of the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda, Long Yu's understanding of the 9 hells chi seemed to have been raised to a higher level. The defensive strength of the netherworld barrier he displayed was 40 to 50% stronger than it was outside. Whether it was the divine rune's golden light or the power of the 2 mysterious jade-level laws, when they bombarded Long Yu's Yellow Springs barrier, they didn't have any effect at all. Instead, they shattered together with the Yellow Springs barrier. The 3 Celestial Realm experts were shocked. They didn't expect Long Yu to actually be able to withstand their attacks. This kid seems to be stronger than the rumors say. The Celestial Realm expert who had comprehended the divine rune's fighting expression darkened. He stared at Long Yu with a solemn expression. I heard that this kid had to use all his strength to kill an initial mortal realm expert. But now, he's able to withstand our combined attack so easily. The other expert also had a solemn expression. They had no intention of underestimating Long Yu at all. The ancient dragon skeleton pagoda does indeed have a strengthening effect on everything related to the dragon seal of the 9 hells. If I only rely on the Yellow Springs barrier in the outside world, I definitely won't be able to withstand the combined attack of the 3 experts, Long Yu thought to himself as he held the dragon spear of the 9 hells in his hand. 10,000 slaughter. Long Yu activated the pitch-black patterns on the dragon spear of the 9 hells and swept out with a spear technique. As the pitch-black wings behind him exploded with incredible speed, the remaining 5 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm who were seriously injured died under his dragon spear of the 9 hells. Long Yu's figure was like a pitch-black flowing light. He shuttled through the field, and the remaining 5 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm who were in the 9 true spirit realm died under his spear technique. Damn it, Long Yu, you're dead. Kill him. The 3 celestial realm experts looked at each other and saw a burst of anger in each other's eyes. They didn't expect that Long Yu would dare to kill people under their noses. He had killed disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. He was simply looking down on the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. They certainly didn't want to see someone as talented as Long Yu step into the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Otherwise, he would definitely take away many of the cultivation resources that originally belonged to them. As such, they had to kill Long Yu now. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the chance to do so once they left the Dragon Bone Tower. It was at this moment that a scream rang out from nearby, causing the 3 Sky Realm experts who were about to attack Long Yu to feel a chill run down their spines. They turned their heads and saw that Vicious Wolf was being attacked by Gentleman Eater and Schwellon. Finally, in a moment of carelessness, Vicious Wolf was struck in the chest by Gentleman Eater's golden divine runes. Vicious Wolf screamed in pain as he was sent flying. It seemed that he would not survive. Originally, the 3 Celestial Realm experts were chasing after Schwellon, but now that their attention was drawn by Long Yu, Schwellon was able to relax. She would, of course, help Gentleman Eater or Mo Shang and finish off one of their opponents first. In the next moment, the battle between Mo Shang and the tall and burly young martial arts cultivator also came to an end. Perhaps because they weren't familiar with Mo Shang's fighting style as a demonic cultivator of the Shadow Demon Royal family. The Celestial Realm disciple from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was seriously injured by Mo Shang and fell heavily to the ground. Mo Shang has become so strong. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. Mo Shang didn't comprehend the power of the fighting divine character, but his understanding of the laws of heaven and earth seemed to be deeper than that of other celestial realm experts. And this allowed him to unexpectedly seriously injure the initial human realm disciple of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. You guys are dead meat. Gentleman Eater, Schwellon, and Mo Shang each took care of Vicious Wolf and the tall and burly young man. They surrounded the three, causing them to break out in a cold sweat. There were a total of 12 disciples from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Now, only 3 of them were left. As for Long Yu and the other 3, none of them died. The key reason was that Long Yu had single-handedly killed the 7 disciples of the rank 9 True Spirit and held up 3 initial human realm cultivators, so that Gentleman Eater and the other 2 could deal with the other 2. At this moment, the situation had changed from being outnumbered to Long Yu and the other 3 initial human realm disciples besieging the remaining 3 initial human realm disciples from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. The result was obvious. The 4th staircase to the 5th floor is right in front of us. Long Yu led Xuelon, Mo Shang, and Gentleman Eater through the 4th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower. Although the 5 Renhua realm cultivators are most likely on the 5th floor, it won't be easy for us to find the staircase they used. Xuelon said lightly. As long as they could find the staircase Xuanji, Tianchun, and the others used, they could easily reach the 5th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower. This was an opportunity for them. After Long Yu mentioned it, the other 3 expressed that they did not want to waste the opportunity and want to give it a try. Since they were going to wander around the 4th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower, they might as well take the opportunity to look for the staircase to the 5th floor. It would not be a waste of time. Just like that, Long Yu used the senses of the Dragon Seal of the 9 underworlds to lead the other 3 through the 4th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower in search of the staircase. There were 3 staircases in front of them. Long Yu tossed a rock up the stairs, immediately attracting the attention of countless withered exotic beasts. Fortunately, those withered exotic beasts couldn't come down, so Long Yu and the others didn't rashly step onto the stairs. On the staircase to the 5th floor, the withered exotic beasts were all terrifying existences at the Deva Arcane Realm, Initial Human Realm, or even Renhua Realm. If they were to fight them head-on, Long Yu and the others would definitely be no match for them. Because of this, they wanted to find the staircase Xuanji, Tianchun, and the others had chosen. The withered exotic beasts on that staircase had all been killed by Xuanji, Tianchun, and the others, so Long Yu and the others could step onto it. As Long Yu walked, he felt that the qi in his body was gradually becoming more abundant. After defeating the group of disciples from the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate Realm, the 4 of them had all obtained a lot of benefits. Among them, Long Yu had obtained a lot of herbs, 2nd-level treasures, and 3rd-level treasures. Without any hesitation, Long Yu directly absorbed all the spiritual qi of heaven and earth in these herbs. Although the effects of these herbs would be much better if they were refined into elixirs, Long Yu did not have the time to make elixirs at the moment. To him, the earlier he could enter the Deva Arcane Realm, the earlier he would be able to face cultivators at the level of Xuanji and Tianchun. The spiritual qi needed to enter the Deva Arcane Realm has finally been accumulated. Now, the only thing left is that bottleneck, Long Yu thought to himself. Soon, the 4 of them came to the 4th staircase that they had seen leading to the 5th floor. Clatter. Long Yu threw a stone on the staircase and found that there was no reaction from stairs. There's a strong and strange smell of blood, and there are many dead bodies of withered beasts. This should be the place, right? Long Yu stood at the foot of the stairs and said with a slight frown. Xuelon, Mo Shang, and Eater Gentleman all looked up the stairs. There was no light in the passageway, but they could feel that there had been a fierce battle on the stairs not long ago. The dead party was obviously a large group of withered beasts piled up at the top of the stairs. Each of these withered beasts was a terrifying existence in the Deva Arcane Realm. Only Xuanji and Tianchun and the few other cultivators in the Renhua realm could set foot on this staircase. Let's go to the 5th floor. Long Yu took the lead and set foot on the pitch-black staircase. Even though he was faced with the unknown and might encounter powerful opponents like Xuanji and Tianchun, he did not think too much about it. Given the relationship between the ancient dragon skeleton tower and the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds, Long Yu would definitely head to the higher floors of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. The 6th floor was Long Yu's final goal. After all, It was the highest floor a martial cultivator could reach at this stage. As for the higher floors, Long Yu did not want to go there recklessly unless it was necessary. After all, he was not sure what the relationship between the ancient dragon skeleton tower and the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds was. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Footsteps could be heard from the empty stairs. As Long Yu and the other 3 walked up, they could feel the strange smell of blood coming from the stairs. This was the smell of the withered beasts after they were killed. Someone's still fighting up ahead. The 4 of them stopped almost at the same time when they were halfway up. This was because they could feel a majestic golden light emitting from the divine runes in front of them. The roars of various withered beasts could be heard. Clearly, an intense battle was going on. Could it be Xuanji and Tianshan? Chapter 360. When Long Yu saw a flash of light in front of him, he was almost certain that it was Qihua. Since Qihua was here, would Tianshan be far away? Furthermore, Qihua was only an initial human realm demonic cultivator, so it was impossible for him to reach the 5th level of the tower alone. In other words, even if Qihua wasn't with Tianshan, he was with someone else. Qihua, what's wrong with you? Long Yu was a little uneasy as he thought about it. He really wanted to know how Qihua had been over the past 2 years, but Qihua didn't react much when he saw him. He only nodded slightly. Moreover, Qihua was always with Tianshan, so Long Yu didn't have a chance to speak. What should we do? Should we continue forward, or? Xuelan's expression darkened. She was already thinking of retreating when she sensed that there was still a battle going on. Although they hadn't offended the other party and were only walking on the stairs where the other party had just killed the beast, it was enough to make some martial cultivators unhappy. After all, the 4 of them were taking advantage of the situation. They were avoiding the beast just to get to the 5th level of the tower and compete with them for the treasures there. I think it's better for us to retreat. If we continue forward, they might think that we're up to no good. The Fat Eater didn't look too good either, and he naturally retreated. Although they dared to fight against the initial human realm disciples of the Northern Academy of the Mandate Realm, they were still in awe of the Renhua realm cultivators who dared to reach the 5th level. That was because they were at the initial human realm and knew very well how much effort and difficulties one had to face in order to reach the Renhua realm. The Renhua realm was a sublimation of the initial human realm. Taking this step was as difficult as entering the heavenly being arcane realm from the rank 9 true spirit realm. Once one entered the Renhua realm, their basic strength would multiply and they would no longer be on the same level. The difference in basic strength between the initial human realm and the Renhua realm was almost the same as the difference between the rank 6 true spirit and the rank 9 true spirit. Although it was only a step away, the difference was huge. I'll step back. Mo Shan's calm words also expressed his point of view. Xuelan, Eater Gentleman, and Silent Death did not want to clash with each other, so they all retreated. However, only Long Yu stood where he was. Not only did he not retreat, he actually continued to advance. Long Yu, Xuelan's expression changed. She could not quite understand Long Yu's actions. Don't worry about me. I have an old friend ahead, Long Yu said in a deep voice. He then quickened his pace and rushed towards the fiery light. Under the light of the flames, he could see the figure of a red-haired, devilish young man wearing a mask. His back was facing him as he burned the withered beasts on the stairs. As if sensing Long Yu's aura, the red-haired demonic youth turned around and glanced at Long Yu. Scarlet Flame. Those eyes were indeed Chihua's eyes. However, when he saw Long Yu, Chihua's eyes flickered with a murderous intent. This murderous intent made Long Yu's heart skip a beat. Although he was still running forward, he became extremely cautious. When Xuelan, Eater Gentleman, and Silent Shang saw that Long Yu did not listen to their advice and directly stepped forward, they all fell silent and did not say anything. They knew that they definitely could not stop Long Yu on their own. Moreover, why would they stop him? There were many dangers ahead. Long Yu's life would be in danger if he went alone, but so would they? If they tried to stop Long Yu or followed Long Yu, they might even get themselves killed. Although they had fought alongside Long Yu, they were definitely not willing to risk their lives on Long Yu's hands. Retreating was the safest option. They could only watch helplessly as Long Yu sprinted forward, gradually approaching the demonic man whose entire body was emitting scarlet flames. "Oh, it's you." Chi Hua spoke, and the murderous intent in his eyes disappeared. This was the first time he spoke to Long Yu, and it was also the first time Long Yu heard him speak. After all, in the past, Long Yu communicated with Chi Hua through divine thoughts. But now, Chi Hua had stepped into the heavenly being's secret realm. Not only could he transform into a human form, but he could also speak. "It's me." Long Yu nodded. He was keenly aware that there was another person not far in front of Chi Hua, an extremely powerful guy. Xuanji Tianchen, or another young warrior in the human Hua realm from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Long Yu did not know, but no matter what, he had to be wary of this person. "Xuanji Tianchen, let me kill you. Only then will he let my clansmen go." Chi Hua looked at Long Yu and said in a low voice. These words caused Long Yu to be slightly stunned. He had been wondering why Chi Hua did not greet him and why he followed Xuanji Tianchen so calmly. So that was why Xuanji Tianchen was threatening Chi Hua with the lives of the other Firefox clansmen. "Chi Hua, are you done talking? What are you waiting for?" A playful and expectant voice came from the top of the stairs. Long Yu recognized the voice as soon as it appeared. It was indeed Xuanji Tianchen. However, Xuanji Tianchen was currently on the stairs, fighting with the withered beast in front of him. The golden light of the divine character fight was constantly emitted, illuminating the withered branches of the beast. The power of the divine character unleashed by Xuanji Tianchen was clearly much more powerful than that of the others. 1% of the divine character's power. Long Yu's expression changed slightly. 1% of the divine character's power was 10 times more powerful than the 1,000th of the divine character's power that the others mastered, not to mention that it was unleashed by Xuanji Tianchen, who was at the human glory realm. The human glory realm was many times more powerful than the human initial realm martial cultivators. With the addition of the 1% of the divine character's power, Long Yu was 100% sure that he would not be a match for Xuanji Tianchen, even if he used the Dark Dragon's 9 explosions. Now that things had come to this, Xuanji Tianchen was certain that he would make Long Yu stay in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower forever. Therefore, he didn't mind Chi Hua's words exposing his despicable nature. Long Yu was going to die anyway. So what if he knew something? "Long Yu, I'm sorry." Chi Hua's expression darkened. He knew that for the sake of his clansmen, he had no other choice but to attack Long Yu. "Bring it on." Long Yu's expression was calm as he nodded his head. He was not afraid of fighting Chi Hua because he was sure that Chi Hua was not a match for him yet. However, he was afraid that he would accidentally hurt Chi Hua. Most importantly, even if Long Yu defeated Chi Hua, there was still Xuanji Tianchen behind him. There was no way that Xuanji Tianchen would let Long Yu go. "If I can't enter the heavenly human secret realm, I might really die here today." Long Yu's heart raced. Although he could release the dragon of hell's true spirit at the crucial moment, who knew if he would die? If he was taken over by the ancient consciousness, Long Yu would be as good as dead. Crimson Fire Whirlwind. Chi Hua raised his hand, and a crimson fire whirlwind surged toward Long Yu. His eyes were filled with pity. Although he had heard that Long Yu could defeat an expert of the heavenly human secret realm, he had not seen it with his own eyes, so he did not believe it. Therefore, he did not use his full strength in this attack. It was just a test. Yellow Springs Barrier. Long Yu raised his hand, and the netherworld Chi condensed into a barrier. The Yellow Springs Barrier, which had increased its defense by several times, easily blocked Chi Hua's Crimson Fire Whirlwind. "Chi Hua, I need to break through the bottleneck and enter the heavenly human secret realm. If possible, help me break through." The lunar wings on Long Yu's back spread out, and a thought was transmitted to Chi Hua, causing his expression to change slightly. Chi Hua was in human form and could not release his thoughts, but he could receive them. The moment he received Long Yu's thoughts, his lips curled into a smile, and he nodded lightly. Nine-tailed True Spirit. The true spirit formed by 9 flaming tails burst out from behind Chihua, and a wave of heat instantly filled the entire staircase. Is this the nomological power of unity of heaven and man? No, nomological power is completely suppressed in the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Long Yu gritted his teeth. Although he could comprehend something from the burst of power from the 9-tailed true spirit, it was far from enough for him to break through to the heavenly human secret realm. He had to fight. Since Xuanji Tianshan had asked Chihua to kill him, one of them had to fall. All I can do now is get Chihua to cooperate with me and help me break through to the heavenly human secret realm. After that, I can directly attack Xuanji Tianshan. If I can defeat him, everything else will be easy. Long Yu took a step forward and gathered a wave of netherworld qi in his hand. Nomological power, can you feel it? Behind Chihua, the 9-tailed true spirit formed by the flames was constantly emitting flames. Although the flames were emitted from his body, they contained a certain charm that made one feel like they were one with the nomological power of heaven and earth. He raised his head and looked at Long Yu. Then, he raised his hand, and another Chihua whirlwind of flames swept towards Long Yu. Xuanji Tianshan was still watching from behind. Chihua could not openly help Long Yu. He could only let Long Yu feel the nomological power during the battle. Nomological power, unity of heaven and man, true spirit, domain. Long Yu felt the power of the Chihua whirlwind and once again blocked it with the Yellow Springs barrier. The domain had advanced to nomological power. This was the process of breaking through the bottleneck and stepping into the heavenly human secret realm. However, it was too difficult to achieve this, especially in the ancient dragon skeleton tower, where there was no nomological power at all. Long Yu, if you can't step into the heavenly human secret realm, you'll really die this time. Chihua felt a little anxious as he watched Long Yu block the Chihua whirlwind. He had been with Long Yu for a long time and knew some of Long Yu's secrets. If Long Yu could step into the heavenly human secret realm, it would not be impossible for him to deal with Xuanji Tianshan. Although the possibility of breaking through the bottleneck and stepping into the heavenly human secret realm was extremely low, Chihua could only do his best to help Long Yu. He did not want to kill Long Yu, nor did he want his clansmen to suffer. The only way was to kill Xuanji Tianshan. Chapter 361. The Fifth Floor. The stairs leading to the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower were finally cleared by Xuanji Tianshan alone. Xuanji Tianshan didn't feel any pressure dealing with the withered beasts at the human initial and human glory realms. It was evident that he was extremely powerful even among the human glory realm cultivators. Come up, Chihua. Xuanji Tianshan stepped onto the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower and looked back at the stairs. Long Yu and Chihua were locked in a fierce battle. He could tell that Chihua didn't seem to be holding back against Long Yu. However, Long Yu's battle prowess really shocked Xuanji Tianshan. He's only in the rank 9 true spirit realm, but he can fight against Chihua of the heavenly realm. Although Chihua can't unleash his full strength in the ancient Dragonbone Tower, it's enough for Long Yu to be proud. Xuanji Tianshan stood calmly at the entrance of the 5th floor with a handsome face. Chihua was originally fighting with Long Yu. After hearing Xuanji Tianshan's words, he quietly nodded at Long Yu, then turned around and ran up the stairs. He soon reached the entrance of the 5th floor as well. Long Yu, the 5th floor is right in front of you. Do you dare to come up? The corner of Xuanji Tianshan's mouth curled up as he looked at Long Yu, who was on the stairs, in a mocking manner. Long Yu didn't say anything. He walked up the stairs step by step, staring at Xuanji Tianshan in a golden robe. Xuanji Tianshan and Xuanji Shanhai looked similar, but judging from their age, they didn't seem like father and son, but brothers. These 2 brothers are so hostile toward me. Could my mother or father have offended them in the past? Long Yu thought to himself. He didn't say anything and stepped onto the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. His lonely figure in a black robe faced Xuanji Tianshan and Chihua alone. However, he didn't seem nervous or afraid at all. On the contrary, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes when he stepped onto the 5th floor. The power of the 9 underworlds has become even stronger in the 5th layer. No matter if I use any martial skills or methods related to the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds, the power will increase by 60 to 70%. Long Yu could clearly sense that the air around the 5th level had already fused with a great deal of 9th hell chi, and this caused his combat strength to rise to another level. Of course, even so, it was impossible for him to defeat Xuanji Tianquan unless he could step into the Empyrean realm. Qihua, kill him, Xuanji Tianquan ordered calmly. He had asked Qihua to come up to the 5th floor so that he could humiliate Long Yu a few more times before he killed him. However, he had not expected that Long Yu would follow him without hesitation. He had lost the chance to mock Long Yu. This kid is really daring. Xianji and Tian Chen looked at Long Yu and smiled faintly. Anyway, you don't have long to live. So what if you're brave? Moreover, he felt exhilarated watching Long Yu and Qihua fight to the death. Xuanji Tianquan knew that Qihua and Long Yu had a good friendship. At this moment, how could he not feel good watching the two fight so fiercely and kill each other? Qihua stepped forward again, and the 9-tailed true spirit appeared behind him. Long Yu, come on. Qihua's face darkened. He had to continue acting now. Not only did he have to help Long Yu break into the Empyrean realm, but he also could not let Xuanji Tianquan see through him. Otherwise, if Xuanji Tianquan took action personally, Long Yu would definitely die. Long Yu nodded. The heaven-suppressing sun and 9 true spirits appeared behind him one after another, and the moon-slaying saber light condensed into a whirlwind that swept toward Qihua. The Empyrean realm is one with heaven and earth, turning the realm into laws. If we were in the outside world, I might have broken through by now, but in the ancient Dragonbone Tower, it's so difficult to break through. Standing here, Long Yu could not feel any power of the laws of heaven and earth. Correspondingly, it was extremely difficult to break through to the Empyrean realm here. The good news was that he had set foot on the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, and the strengthening of the netherworld chi was even more obvious. A long while later, Xuanji Tianquan frowned slightly as he watched the two fight. Qihua was a demonic cultivator of the Empyrean realm, while Long Yu was only a rank 9 true spirit cultivator. No matter how strong Long Yu was, the outcome of the battle should have been decided after such a long time. Could it be that Qihua was going easy on him? Qihua, if you can't finish him off in 5 breaths, I'll kill half of your clansmen when I get out. Xuanji Tianquan's lips curled up slightly as he spoke again. He was enjoying the process of the battle between Long Yu and Qihua very much, and he was very excited to see Long Yu in pain. As soon as he said that, Long Yu and Qihua's hearts skipped a beat. It seemed that Xuanji Tianquan had discovered something in 5 breaths' time. Damn it, this ancient Dragonbone Tower has nothing to do with the outside world. It's too difficult to enter the Empyrean realm here. Long Yu gritted his teeth. Even if he wanted to use the laws of Netherworld to break through to the Empyrean realm, it was too late now. After all, he had not really comprehended the laws of Netherworld before. 9 Underworld Dragon Seal, activate. Long Yu knew that this was a crucial moment. If he still could not break through now, he would most likely die here. The next moment, he felt the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal on his chest suddenly become extremely hot, and even the airflow on the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower became chaotic. Netherworld Chi, come to me. Long Yu took a step forward and gritted his teeth. His tempered dantian pulsated at the fastest speed, and he carefully sensed the netherworld chi in the air around him. The next moment, Long Yu finally felt that he and the surrounding netherworld chi seemed to have a mysterious connection with the space where the ancient Dragonbone Tower was. Was he about a breakthrough? Long Yu quickly shook his head. He did not feel any signs of a breakthrough, but he really seemed to have merged with his surroundings. This is a sign of a breakthrough? How is this possible? Xuanji Tianquan could not help but be stunned when he sensed the changes in the surrounding airflow. He had never heard of anyone breaking through to the Empyrean realm in the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Was Long Yu's talent really that terrifying? Xuanji Tianxin's face darkened. He knew that he could not let Long Yu break through successfully. Although Xuanji Tianxin was very confident in his own strength, he was now standing right in front of Long Yu. How could he just watch Long Yu break through and not do anything? Given Xuanji Tianxin's character, if he could crush an ant to death, he would definitely not let the ant have any chance of becoming stronger. Divine text, kill him. A golden glow of the divine text gathered behind Xuanji Tianxin, then condensed into a golden saber light that slashed down at the top of Long Yu's head. He's attacking directly. Chihua's expression changed. He could also tell that Long Yu seemed to be forcing his way into the Empyrean realm. Breaking through to the Empyrean realm was a bottleneck for any martial cultivator. However, it was not difficult for some martial cultivators with extremely high talent. It was just that the difficulty of breaking through to the Empyrean realm in the ancient Dragonbone Tower was more than 100 times higher than in the outside world. But now, Long Yu was actually forcefully merging with the aura of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, becoming one with the world where the ancient Dragonbone Tower was located. In Chihua's opinion, this would definitely have a great impact on Long Yu's future path. After merging with the ancient Dragonbone Tower, would he still be able to merge with the world outside? Chihua did not know. He only knew that no matter what Long Yu was doing, he had to block Xuanji Tianxin for Long Yu. Nine-tailed, true spirit. A murderous look flashed in Chihua's eyes. The nine-tailed, true spirit immediately danced, accompanied by fierce flames that filled the sky and blasted towards Xuanji Tianxin's golden saber light with the divine text. The two forces clashed in midair, causing the entire hall to tremble. Chihua's entire body was sent flying by the strong airflow, crashing into the wall at the side. It was just one attack, but Chihua's nine-tailed, true spirit seemed to be a little dispirited. The difference in strength between him and Xuanji Tianxin was just too great. At that moment, Long Yu's eyes were filled with the color of the underworld. His vision was filled with a strange, pitch-black color. Seeing Chihua block Xuanji Tianxin's fatal attack for him, he had an idea. He raised his hand, and the surrounding netherworld chi gathered in his palm. Ever since I stepped onto the path of martial arts, I've been accompanied by the dragon seal of the netherworld. My understanding of the netherworld chi has long been engraved in my heart. Long Yu's eyes were wide open as he took one step at a time towards the heavenly secrets. The power of the laws of the netherworld began to blossom from his body. There were not many changes in Long Yu's body, but he could feel that he had already merged with the aura of the entire ancient Dragonbone Tower. He could control the endless netherworld chi with just a thought. This feeling was extremely satisfying. Although he had not entered the heavenly realm, he could at least use the power of the ancient Dragonbone Tower to increase his strength by several times. Heavenly realm? No, this kid hasn't entered the heavenly realm, but he can merge with the aura of the ancient Dragonbone Tower and use the power of the tower. Xuanji Tianxin's eyes widened. He could not understand what was going on. A fake heavenly realm? No one had ever encountered such a situation before. Could this ancient pagoda be related to this brat? That mysterious and strange power on his body. Could it be Xuanji Tianxin, since the aura on Long Yu and finally thought of something? Right. Was the source of the netherworld on the 4th floor taken by this kid? So what if he can control the aura of the ancient tower? The gap between the realms of the martial Dao is an insurmountable chasm between us. Xuanji Tianxin shouted and formed a golden glow with the Do divine rune, preparing to use the power of the divine rune against Long Yu. He knew that his true spirit and the power of laws were suppressed in the ancient Dragonbone Tower, so he did not use them. He only used the power of the divine rune against his opponent. Netherworld explosion. Long Yu punched the ground. In the netherworld, chi formed a pillar of air that suddenly erupted, dispersing the Do divine rune that Xuanji Tianxin had formed. This scene made Chihua, who had fallen to the side, overjoyed. Chapter 362. The golden light of the divine runes was shattered by the explosion of the 9 serenities, forcing Xuanji Tianqian to take a few steps back. He looked shocked. What kind of power is this? The power of the Dragon Bone Tower? Xuanji Tianqian looked serious. He stared at Long Yu and said, "It seems that I have to kill you here." "You're afraid," Long Yu said casually and took a step forward. He was surrounded by the aura of the 9 serenities, making him look like a god of death from the underworld. "Afraid? Do you think I, Xuanji Tianqian, am afraid of a mere Long Yu?" Xuanji Tianqian laughed arrogantly. "I admit that your performance has surprised me. But if you think that you can defeat me, Xuanji Tianqian, you must be dreaming. Then why are you talking nonsense? Why don't you just come and kill me?" The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up as he mocked. "I'll satisfy you." Xuanji Tianqian's eyes were full of murderous intent. He walked toward Long Yu step by step. "What do we do now?" Xuelan, Eater, and Mo Shang did not go up the stairs. Instead, they stayed between the stairs. They saw the battle between Long Yu and Qi Hua with their own eyes, but they did not see that Long Yu was already fighting with Xuanji Tianqian. They did not dare to show themselves. Otherwise, if Xuanji Tianqian asked them to fight Long Yu, they would be in trouble. They did not have the heart to fight Long Yu. After all, they were all martial arts cultivators participating in the heavenly mandate sacred selection. But if they did not fight Long Yu, they would offend Xuanji Tianqian. "I don't know. We can only wait for them to leave before we can go out." The Fat Eater sighed and shook his head. "In that case, I'm afraid that Long Yu," Xuelan's face darkened. "Even if we show up now, we're no match for Xuanji Tianqian. Let's do as Eater said." Silent Shang glanced at Xuelan, supporting Eater's words. The 3 of them stopped at the bottom of the stairs leading to the 5th floor of the Dragon Skeleton Tower. They listened carefully for any movements above them. Suddenly, the 3 of them turned around at the same time and saw that 2 other people had arrived at the top of the stairs. Just like Xuanji and Tianqian, they were both at the Human Glory Realm. They were 2 of the 5 most powerful cultivators who had entered the Dragon Skeleton Tower. "Yo, someone got here before us." One of them, a skinny horse-faced youth, was slightly surprised when he saw Xuelan, Eater, Gentleman, and Silent Shang at the staircase. There must be someone ahead. Just these 3 fellows won't be able to deal with those withered branch exotic beasts. The other square-faced, steady-looking young man observed the corpses of the withered exotic beasts on the stairs. He didn't even look at Xuelan and the others, and directly went up the stairs. Xuelan and the other 2 immediately made way for them. Since the other party didn't want to attack Xuelan and the other 2, Xuelan and the other 2 definitely wouldn't take the initiative to provoke the other party. After all, the other party was a Renhua realm cultivator. They were much stronger than Xuanji Tianqian, who was a Renhua realm cultivator. Long Yu, Xuelan felt uncomfortable as she watched the horse-faced man and the square-faced man walk away. The 3 Renhua realm cultivators had already reached the 5th floor of the Dragon Skeleton Tower. Wouldn't it be impossible for Long Yu to survive if he was alone up there? If it was just Xuanji Tianqian, Long Yu might have a slight chance of dealing with him. However, with the addition of these 2, Long Yu definitely wouldn't be a match for them. But now, even if Xuelan was worried about Long Yu, what was the point? No matter what, she was more concerned about her own life than Long Yu's. At the end of the stairs, on the 5th floor of the Dragon Skeleton Tower, Long Yu and Xuanji Tianqian had no idea that 2 more people were on their way up the stairs. Damn it, Xuanji Tianqian's forehead was drenched in cold sweat as he kept retreating. He had just exchanged more than 10 blows with Long Yu, but even though he had given it his all and fully unleashed the power of the divine character fight, he still couldn't do anything to Long Yu. Although Long Yu had yet to enter the heavenly being's secret realm, he had a slight connection with the world of the Dragon Skeleton Tower. This connection allowed the power that Long Yu could use to directly surpass and suppress Xuanji Tianqian. This doesn't feel like I've entered the heavenly being secret realm. Instead, it feels like I've resonated with a battle weapon. However, could this Dragon Skeleton Tower be a battle weapon? As Long Yu thought to himself, A cold glint flashed in his eyes as he looked at Xuanji Tianqian. Xuanji Tianqian had descended forcefully 2 years ago and snatched little fox demon Qi Hua away. Right now, he was even threatening the lives of the other fire fox demonic race clansmen to force Qi Hua to fight him to the death. If not for the fact that Long Yu had a slight connection with the Dragon Skeleton Tower, he and Qi Hua would have been long dead. Xuanji Tianqian, I remember that I've never offended you, yet you've been targeting me all this while. Is there a need to do this? Long Yu asked coldly as he strode forward. You've never offended me, but if you want to blame someone, blame your useless father for snatching away our North College's holy lady. That's an unforgivable sin. Xuanji Tianqian sneered. Where's my father now? Long Yu asked with a frown. He had guessed that answer a long time ago. Now that he thought about it, it seemed that Xuanji Shanhai and Xuanji Tianqian were so hostile towards him because of his father, Long Zaiqian. Based on their age, Xuanji Tianqian could not have hated Long Yu so much. After all, he was still a little boy 20 years ago and could not have hated Long Zaiqian that much. So, it was because of Xuanji Shanhai. Is Xuanji Shanhai interested in my mother? So, I'm the son of his rival in love? Long Yu thought of this almost immediately, and this guess was not far from the truth. Who knows where that useless thing is? Maybe he's long dead. Hearing Long Yu's question, Xuanji Tianqian answered with all his heart. Then he looked at Long Yu and said, Long Yu, no matter how talented you are, from the moment you stepped into the North College of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and came to participate in the sacred selection of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, you were destined to die. Is that so? Long Yu curled up the corner of his mouth and said, You're no match for me now, yet you still dare to talk big. Aren't you overconfident? Ha ha! Whether I'm talking big or not, you'll know soon enough. Xuanji Tianqian laughed and raised his hand. The golden light of the divine characters was released again, condensing into a sword light and chopping down at Long Yu's head. 9 serenities. Long Yu waved his hand, and the chi of the 9 serenities quickly condensed in his palm, directly enveloping the golden sword light with the divine characters. Then he squeezed his hand, and the golden sword light with the divine characters was completely crushed by the chi of the 9 serenities. What other tricks do you have? Just use them, or you'll probably die in my hands. Long Yu's whole body emitted the chi of the 9 serenities, and he approached Xuanji Tianqian step by step. Seeing Long Yu's situation, Qi Hua, who was standing to the side, was very pleased. Although Long Yu had not entered the heavenly being secret realm, his aura was compatible with the aura in the Dragon Bone Tower, which was enough to show how talented Long Yu was. Qi Hua sat up and saw 2 martial arts cultivators at the entrance of the stairs leading up. Of the 2 martial cultivators, one of them was skinny and had a horse-like face, while the other was burly and had a square face and looked extremely steady. Wu Xing, Zhong Shulong. Qi Hua recognized the 2 genius disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm at a glance. Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong were both in the Renhua realm, just like Xuanji Tianqian. Like Xuanji Tianqian, they were not even 30 years old. It could be said that the 2 of them together were definitely more powerful than 2 Xuanji Tianqian. Long Yu run. With that thought, Qi Hua stood up and roared as fast as he could. Without looking back, Long Yu frowned slightly. He had also sensed that 2 Renhua realm cultivators like Xuanji Tianqian were coming up the stairs. However, he did not panic, because Long Yu was compatible with the heaven and earth of the Dragon Bone Tower and had a powerful aura. Although he had not entered the heavenly being secret realm, his strength was definitely comparable to that of a heavenly being secret realm cultivator. Even ordinary initial human realm martial arts cultivators would not be a match for Long Yu. Even if he were to face a Renhua realm cultivator like Xuanji Tianqian, Long Yu could easily suppress him. Xuanji Tianqian, I didn't expect you to be beaten up like this by a kid in the rank 9 true spirit realm. Don't you feel ashamed? The thin, horse-faced young man, Wu Xing, couldn't help but laugh when he saw Xuanji Tianqian's pathetic state. Cut the crap. Hurry up and catch him. If he escapes, we won't have a good life in the future. Xuanji Tianchen snorted. That's true. The tall and sturdy young man, Zhong Shulong, glanced at Long Yu and raised his thick arm. Suddenly, a tyrannical strength gathered in his arm and punched towards Long Yu. Ninth Hell break! Long Yu issued a command in his heart, and Ninth Hell energy roared out from all around him and instantly enveloped Zhong Shulong. After that, the Ninth Hell energy exploded apart. Before Zhong Shulong could sense anything wrong, he was hit by the explosive flow of the netherworld chi. He hurriedly executed his movement martial technique and defensive martial technique to deal with this unexpected attack. This kid really dares to attack. Kill him. Wu Xing had an evil grin on his face. His skinny figure moved and appeared beside Long Yu in an instant. As he gathered his strength, a whirlwind descended from the sky and wrapped around Long Yu. However, Long Yu raised his hand, and a wave of netherworld chi appeared around his body, blocking the whirlwind that was descending from the sky. Even a martial cultivator of the human glory realm is no match for me. If I can reach the 6th floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower, will I be able to discover other secrets? Long Yu thought to himself. Not only did he not feel any pressure fighting against 3 people, he was even thinking about how to reach the 6th floor. What kind of power is this kid using? The horse-faced Wu Xing and the square-faced Zhong Shulong stood together once again. Their gazes towards Long Yu were filled with astonishment. They never thought that Long Yu, who was only in the rank 9 true spirit realm, could defeat a martial cultivator of the human glory realm. It's a bit like the power of the 9th Hell origin. He entered the fake heavenly being arcane realm here, which greatly increased his strength. Chapter 363. The Heavenly Mandate Matrix was a battle matrix that all talented disciples of the Heavenly Mandate Academy were qualified to learn. Once the matrix was activated, the power of the disciples of the Heavenly Mandate Academy within the matrix would increase to a certain extent. 2 people could form a matrix, 3 people, for people, or even more people. The matrix could be formed by up to 8 people, and the effects varied. Of course, the more people there were, the stronger the effect of the matrix would be. Right now, Xuanji Tianchen, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong were all standing in different positions, each in the posture of the Heavenly Mandate Matrix. The Heavenly Mandate Matrix? Long Yu frowned slightly when he saw this. His current state seemed to be invincible against cultivators of the Renhua realm like Xuanji Tianchen, but in reality, he was in an extremely dangerous state. That was because he didn't know why he could use the power in his body. What was the relationship between the Dragon Bone Tower and the Dragon Seal of the 9 Underworld? Long Yu didn't know this, so he was puzzled by the power he had obtained. It's very likely that once I leave the Dragon Bone Tower, I won't be able to use this power anymore, Long Yu thought to himself. He looked around and glanced at Xuanji Tianchen, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong, feeling the strong murderous intent emanating from the 3 of them. The Heavenly Mandate Matrix seems to be quite powerful. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. Just from the fact that the 3 of them had suddenly increased their aura by 30 to 40% after setting up the Matrix, he knew that the 3 of them were not easy to deal with. Kill him, divine text. The skinny, horse-faced youth, Wu Xing, stared into Long Yu's eyes. He raised his hand, and the golden light of the divine text flashed from his body. The power contained in it was at least 50% stronger than what Xuanji Tianchen had displayed earlier. Awakening the palm of Samsara. Nether barrier. Long Yu didn't know the details of the Heavenly Mandate Matrix, so he didn't dare to attack rashly. He could only defend first. As soon as the Samsara Awakening Palm was unleashed, the power of Samsara immediately swept out and enveloped the golden divine characters that Wu Xing had released, instantly weakening its power by more than 40 to 50%. Following that, the weakened golden divine rune slammed into the Yellow Springs barrier and was completely blocked by the barrier. With the power of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda, I can easily withstand such an attack. However, The Heavenly Mandate formation should have more than this. Long Yu thought to himself as he glanced at the 3 Runhua realm cultivators around him. It was strange that these 3 martial cultivators of the human Hua realm, be it Xuanji Tianxun, Wu Xing, or Zhong Shulong, who was relatively steady, were all much stronger than Long Yu in the outside world. But at this moment, in the face of Long Yu, who had stepped into the false heavenly secret land, the 3 of them had to work together, and they could only open the Heavenly Mandate formation to deal with him. Heavenly Mandate Sword. Just as Long Yu blocked Wu Xing's golden divine characters, Xuanji Tianxun raised his hand on the other side and instantly condensed a terrifying sword aura, slashing toward Long Yu's head. The sword aura was accompanied by a terrifying pressure, falling on Long Yu's head. Such pressure, I'm afraid. A supreme black-level martial arts technique. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He could see the level of the martial arts technique of the Heavenly Mandate Sword. It turned out to be a supreme black-level martial arts technique of the same level as the Dance of the Dragon Sparrow. Moreover, Xuanji Tianxun's understanding of this move was not low. In Long Yu's eyes, this attack was like a decree from the heavens, and it was going to cut him in half. It's not easy to block. This Heavenly Mandate formation is too strange. Long Yu's face darkened, and a pair of pitch-black wings spread on his back. Dragon Sparrow Teleportation. Long Yu performed the Dance of the Dragon Sparrow, which he had cultivated to the initial realm. Then, he turned into a black shadow and ran out of the palace. With a loud bang, Xuanji Tianxun's Heavenly Mandate sword slashed directly on the ground of the palace. A terrifying airflow burst out, pushing Long Yu out of the palace. Go after him. Xuanji Tianxun turned around and chased after Long Yu without any hesitation. Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong saw that Long Yu was such a talented martial arts cultivator that they would not let him go easily. They followed Xuanji Tianxun and chased after Long Yu. Chihua stood up and coughed twice. He looked at the direction in which Long Yu left, but did not chase after him. Not to mention that he was injured by Xuanji Tianxun's attack. Even if he was at his peak, he would not be able to intervene in a battle between Renhua realm cultivators. Moreover, he was not fast enough to catch up with Long Yu, Xuanji Tianxun, and the others. Long Yu, I hope you're okay. Chihua gritted his teeth and stood up. He knew that the members of the Firefox clan were in danger. As long as Xuanji Tianxun could leave this place alive, the rest of the Firefox clan would die. It was because Xuanji Tianxun had the Firefox clan under his control that Chihua had become Xuanji Tianxun's henchman in the past 2 years and had done a lot of killing for him. Go to the exit. Chihua quickly made a decision. Although the Dragon Bone Tower was divided into many floors, there was a passage leading to the exit on each floor. As long as he walked along the wall on the right, he would be able to reach the palace where the exit was located. Chihua stood up and walked toward the exit. If Xuanji Tianxun wanted to leave, he would definitely leave through the exit. As long as Chihua guarded the exit, he would definitely know if Xuanji Tianxun could come out alive. As for searching everywhere on the 5th floor, Chihua knew that it was impossible. After all, Long Yu and the 3 Renhua realm cultivators were too fast. Chihua would definitely not be able to find them with his speed alone. After Chihua left, Xuelan, Emo Shang, and Eater cautiously went up to the 5th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower. He's gone. The 3 of them looked around the palace and only saw a large pile of dead branches and exotic beasts that had been cut into pieces by the divine runes. They did not see Long Yu, Xuanji Tianxun, and the others. Long Yu's body isn't here. He should be fine. He might have escaped. Eater looked around and sighed in relief. If that's the case, let's take a look around the 5th floor. If we encounter any Renhua realm exotic beasts, we must avoid them in advance. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable. All right, Xuelan and Emo Shang agreed in unison. Since he had come to the 5th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower, he would be letting himself down if he did not bring something back. At the very least, he had to find some treasures here. Long Yu used Dragon Sparrow Instant Flash and escaped from the palace where he had first arrived on the 5th floor. He then followed the path and headed in the direction that the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds pointed him to. The direction that the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds pointed him to was, of course, the next floor of the Dragon Bone Tower. Now that I'm compatible with the aura of this ancient tower, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to move forward on the 5th floor. Long Yu sprinted quickly. In front of him, there were many withered branches and mutated beasts that blocked his path. Some of these exotic beasts were at the initial realm, while others were at the Renoir realm. However, no matter what level they were at, none of them could withstand a single move from Long Yu. After all, the aura of the 9 underworlds was the bane of these exotic beasts. Not to mention, the power of the 9 underworlds that Long Yu possessed had been strengthened. When no one saw him, the method that Long Yu used to deal with the exotic beasts was the Yu character. The power of the Yu character condensed into a bundle. Even if he were to face a Renoir realm exotic beast, he would be able to kill it with a single move. Because he had used Dragon Sparrow Instant Flash at the beginning, Xuanji and Tianchun were left far behind by Long Yu. In the Dragon Bone Tower, which had many twists and turns, they could not catch up to Long Yu for the time being. However, Long Yu was at the very front, so he had to deal with the withered branch beasts. In addition, he had not stepped into the Heaven Realm, so he was unable to ride the wind. Compared to Xianji and Tianchun, his speed was still at a disadvantage. Not long after, Long Yu sensed Xuanji and Tianchun, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong approaching him from the sky at an extremely fast speed. Heavenly Mandate Sword. Xuanji and Tianchun kept getting closer and closer. Looking at Long Yu with a ferocious look in their eyes, he raised his hand and condensed a ray of sword light. This ray of sword light was even more violent than the one before, and it carried terrifying lightning. It tore through the sky and came to Long Yu's back in an instant, about to stab into his back. Dragon Sparrow Flash. Long Yu's figure suddenly became translucent. The ray of sword light from the Heavenly Mandate sword suddenly passed through his body, but did not cause any damage to him. What's going on? Xuanji and Tianchun's expression changed slightly. He was flying at the front, but because Long Yu had avoided his attack, he paused for a moment and subconsciously slowed down. The ray of sword light that he had just used was a supreme black-level martial arts technique, and he had cultivated it to the great accomplishment realm. With a single slash, even if there was a mountain in front of him, it would still be cleaved in half. However, when facing Long Yu, it didn't affect him at all. This made Xuanji Tianchun feel a little strange. This Long Yu seemed to have many hidden skills. Wu Xing, Zhong Shulong. Just when Xuanji and Tianchun were about to say something, a dark light suddenly flashed before his eyes, and then he felt a pain in his chest, as if some force had pierced through his heart. You. Xuanji and Tianchun had a look of disbelief. He turned around and looked at Long Yu in front of him, only to see Long Yu floating not far away, looking at him with a cold smile. In Long Yu's hand, a strange dark light condensed into a thin line, which directly pierced through Xuanji and Tianchun's chest, killing him with one blow. Shun! When Xuanji and Tianchun coughed, his eyes were bloodshot, and his whole body gradually collapsed. He was surprised that Long Yu had dodged his Heavenly Mandate Divine Sword, and he did not expect Long Yu to turn around and attack. He did not expect Long Yu to have comprehended the power of Shun 1, and it was such a terrifying power. Xuanji Tian was dead. You killed Xuanji. Behind Xuanji Tian, Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong came forward with solemn faces, staring at Long Yu. Zhong Shulong caught Xuanji Tian's body, raised his head, and looked at Long Yu, saying, "You are dead. You have said this many times just now, and I am still alive and well, but Xuanji Tianchun has died before me." Long Yu sneered, not caring about their threats at all. Nothing that happened in the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower would be known by outsiders. So what if he killed Xuanji Tianchun? Anyway, he had no intention of letting Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong go, so he did not have to worry about revenge from the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Chapter 364. Long Yu took a step forward with a smirk in his eyes. Seeing this, Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong both took a step back, and their hearts began to race. It was impossible for them not to be shocked when they saw Xuanji Tianquan being killed by Long Yu with a single blow. That was followed by fear. In terms of strength, the two of them were slightly weaker than Xuanji Tianquan. Facing Long Yu, they began to fear him. Although their inherent pride and confidence as Runhua realm cultivators prevented them from backing down, there was already a shadow in their hearts. Kill. Since Long Yu had used the Yu character, he wouldn't hold back at all. Since he had killed Xuanji Tianquan by surprise, it would be much easier to deal with the other two. After merging with the Dragon Bone Tower, the power of the Yu character Long Yu had condensed was several times stronger. Even if he were to face a Runhua realm cultivator, he would still be able to completely crush them. The power of the Yu character condensed into pitch-black lines, decorating the entire passageway with a dark and eerie scene. The Netherworld state. The Netherworld Qi spread out, instantly enveloping Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong. Under such circumstances, Long Yu was no longer at a disadvantage when facing Wu Xing and Zhong Shulong, the two Renhua realm masters. Xuanji Tianquan, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong were all disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and were all Renhua realm cultivators. Logically speaking, the trip to the Dragon Bone Tower was purely a way for them to find treasures and improve their strength. However, no one had expected that the ancient Dragon Skeleton Pagoda would become their burial ground, despite their strength. After killing the three, Long Yu also felt a little dizzy. The power of the Yu character didn't consume any qi in the body, but it did consume a power similar to mental strength. Using it too much in a short period of time would cause dizziness in martial arts cultivators. That was the case for Long Yu. On the 5th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, he had unleashed the power of the Yu character and killed many Hua realm withered beasts. Now that he had killed Xuanji and Tianquan, he was almost completely exhausted. I need to rest for a while, Long Yu thought to himself. He sat down on the spot and didn't run around. On the 5th level of the ancient Dragon Skeleton Tower, there were many flourishing realm and early human realm withered tree exotic beasts. Given Long Yu's current condition, he would definitely die a horrible death if he ran into a group of withered tree exotic beasts. I wonder how many people are on the 5th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Long Yu sighed and pondered over everything regarding the ancient Dragon Bone Tower and the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. What was the relationship between the two? He would only be able to understand everything after he ascended to the 6th floor of the Dragon Bone Tower. Suddenly, Long Yu opened his eyes and stood up. Killing intent. Long Yu sensed a strong killing intent coming from the tunnel not far away. The target of the killing intent was none other than Long Yu. I haven't fully recovered yet. I can't use the Yu character. Long Yu's expression darkened. He stood up immediately and spread his pitch-black wings, flying in the opposite direction of the killing intent. Only martial cultivators could give off such a strong killing intent, not withered tree exotic beasts. Anyone who could reach the 5th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower so quickly was most likely a flourishing realm expert. Given Long Yu's current condition, it wouldn't be easy for him to deal with another flourishing realm martial cultivator. As such, he could only flee. Very quickly, Long Yu's figure disappeared from where he stood. Not long after, 2 martial cultivators arrived in the air. Both of them were exuding a strong, killing intent. They're dead indeed. Who could it be? When they saw the corpses of Xuanji Tianquan, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong, they exchanged glances and saw the shock and hatred in each other's eyes. They were shocked that someone could kill Xuanji Tianquan, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower despite their combined strength. They were furious that the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm had never been trampled on so wantonly. It can't be other martial cultivators. Could it be a martial cultivator who snuck in? One of the burly young men guessed. That's impossible. The dean was guarding the entrance of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower personally. How could he have let anyone else in? The other person was tall. He shook his head and his eyes sparkled. Could it be that some other powerful exotic beast has appeared in the ancient Dragonbone Tower? Won't we know once we catch up? The burly young man chuckled. Although the deaths of those 3 fellows won't affect us, they're still disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. It's only right for us to avenge them. Yeah, let's take a look and see who's so powerful. The tall young man nodded with a playful look in his eyes. Following the direction that Long Yu escaped, the 2 of them chased after him at an extremely fast speed. Dragon Sparrow instant flight. Long Yu suddenly burst forth with speed and made a turn, avoiding their line of sight once again. Those 2 fellows probably don't know who killed Xuanji Tianxin and the others yet. Long Yu thought to himself, those 2 fellows seem to be stronger than Xuanji Tianxin and the others. Even at my peak, I probably won't be able to deal with them. Behind him, the withered exotic beasts that were chasing after Long Yu stopped and became an obstacle for the 2 disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Kill them. The sturdy young man sneered and suddenly released sword chi from his body. It turned out to be the Heavenly Mandate sword that had been cultivated to the peak or even completed. This was a supreme grade black-level martial arts technique. As the sword chi emerged, the withered exotic beasts in the Renhua realm were directly killed without the slightest ability to resist. As for the tall young man, he didn't do anything at all. After seeing the sturdy young man kill the withered exotic beasts, the tall young man took the lead and chased forward. The source of 9 underworlds has been taken away. It seems that it was indeed the work of a martial arts cultivator. It can't be the exotic beasts in the ancient Dragonbone Tower. The tall young man came to the hall and said after thinking for a while, how dare he steal our source of 9 underworlds? He must be tired of living. Let's continue chasing. I'd like to see how far that kid can run. The 2 of them continued to chase in the direction of Long Yu. The reason why they were so slow was that they had absolute confidence that they could catch up with Long Yu. Although they still didn't know who the murderer was, they had already used a martial arts technique to lock on a Long Yu's aura. No matter where he ran, it was impossible for him to escape from the 2 of them. These 2 were the strongest young disciples under the age of 30 in the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. Although Xuanji Tianxun, Wu Xing, and Zhong Shulong were also in the Renhua realm, they were still much weaker than the 2 of them. The sturdy young man, Guan Shanxiong, and the tall young man, Zhan Teng, were both among the strongest among the younger generation of disciples in the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. They were only 1 step away from the Human Tribulation Realm. That kid is approaching the stairs to the 6th floor. Soon, the tall young man, Zhan Teng, sensed the direction in which Long Yu was heading. He couldn't help but smile and said, let's kill him on the stairs. That's exactly what I wanted. The sturdy young man, Guan Shanxiong, grinned and nodded. The 2 of them moved forward quickly and finally saw the stairs leading to the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. That's strange. I can't sense that kid's aura anymore. The tall young man, Zhan Teng, suddenly frowned. So what if you can't sense it? It's not like that kid can climb the stairs so quickly. Let's go and kill him. The sturdy young man, Guan Shanxiong, did not think too much and directly stepped onto the stairs leading to the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Zhan Teng was a little confused. He looked around but did not find anything, so he could only follow Guan Shanxiong and step onto the stairs leading to the 6th floor. Soon, he realized that something was wrong. It was because no martial arts cultivator had set foot on the stairs before. As soon as the 2 of them entered, countless exotic beasts from the other world surged towards them, wanting to tear them into pieces. We've been tricked. Chapter 365. The 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower was different from the first 5 floors. In the first 5 floors, there was only 1 species of exotic beasts, the withered branch exotic beasts. However, on the 6th floor, there would be many exotic beasts that came from another world. These exotic beasts had different forms, fighting styles, and fighting styles. However, most of these exotic beasts were at the human glory realm. Only a few of them could reach the human tribulation realm. Different from the first 5 floors, the exotic beasts on the 6th floor would fight with each other. The withered branch exotic beasts did not have an absolute advantage on the 6th floor. For example, the exotic beasts that appeared on the stairs that Zhan Tung and Guan Shanxiong were on were all flying exotic beasts that seemed to be covered in a layer of metal armor. These exotic beasts were called 8-clawed flying bats. They had 8 metal-like claws and 8 pairs of translucent cicada-like wings. They were born with extremely strong defensive abilities. This staircase was occupied by the 8-clawed flying bats. If other exotic beasts came here, they would definitely be attacked by these 8-clawed flying bats. Of course, this included human martial arts practitioners and demonic cultivators of the Heavenly Mandate continent. Where's that kid? Guan Shanxiong kept gathering sword aura from the Heavenly Mandate sword and looked around. He saw that he was surrounded by countless 8-clawed flying bats. The reflection of the metallic luster from the sword aura made him extremely frustrated. He didn't step on the stairs. Zhan Tung said with a gloomy face, "My tracking secret skill was broken by him." "How is that possible?" Guan Shanxiong was shocked hearing this. "Your tracking technique has never been broken before. How could it be?" "I don't know what method that kid used. Anyway, the signal was cut off here. I thought he had stepped on the stairs." Zhan Tung shook his head and waved his hand. "Since we're here, let's ignore that kid for now. Let's go to the 6th floor first. Our target this time is the 6th floor. As for that kid, if he dares to come up to the 6th floor, I don't mind avenging Xuanji, Tianshan, and the others." The golden light of the divine runes that Zhan Tung had comprehended was even more resplendent than the 1% of the power of the heavenly star. It could be seen that the power that Zhan Tung could display in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower was not any weaker than in the outside world. Right now, even if Long Yu was at his peak, he probably wouldn't be a match for Zhan Tung. Of course, Long Yu had long since noticed that Zhan Tung and Guan Shanxiong were difficult to deal with, and it was precisely because of this that he kept running in front of them. Got rid of him. Long Yu's figure appeared on the 5th floor, close to the stairs leading to the 6th floor. He let out a sigh of relief when he saw Zhan Tung and Guan Shanxiong ascending the stairs. Just like the exotic beasts, once a martial cultivator stepped onto the stairs, there was no way back. If they wanted to leave, they could only use the stairs to head to the exit of the next floor. Luckily, I used the spirit-seeking technique and saw that there was something wrong with me. Then, I used the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds to remove that bit of abnormality. It should be because of that thing that these 2 fellows could lock onto my position, right? Long Yu recalled the situation just now. It was indeed a close call. If the 2 Renoir realm experts had caught up to him, Long Yu would definitely have lost his life. He would have no choice but to release the true spirit of the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. But even Long Yu had no idea what would happen if that happened. Long Yu rested near the stairs for an hour. His body recovered to its peak condition, and then he finally stood up. To prevent any accidents, he did not take the stairs directly. Instead, he continued walking through the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, heading for another staircase nearby. Until now, there were only a few martial cultivators who could reach the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Long Yu had yet to encounter anyone else after walking for so long. Soon, he killed a few withered exotic beasts and arrived at another staircase leading to the 6th floor. I hope the 6th floor won't disappoint me. Long Yu looked up the pitch-black staircase and calmed himself down. He took a step forward and stepped onto the staircase. The moment he stepped onto the staircase, a terrifying aura suddenly descended from the staircase. Endless killing intent shrouded Long Yu. At the same time, a sticky force surged over, staining Long Yu's body. Sunfire intent. With a thought from Long Yu, a burst of sunfire light shone, illuminating the entire staircase. What appeared before Long Yu was actually a pile of mud-like creatures covering the entire staircase. The force released by these mud-like exotic beasts was that sticky force. The sticky force of countless mud-like exotic beasts landed on Long Yu's body, rendering him immobile. He could only watch as the mud-like exotic beasts crawled up his body. What kind of exotic beasts are these? Long Yu gritted his teeth. He looked around and sensed the aura of these mud-like exotic beasts. They were completely different from the withered exotic beasts. They were definitely a different species of exotic beasts. There were actually other species of exotic beasts on the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. The Northern College of the Heavenly Mandate has the 88th Star Beast Garden. The exotic beasts in the garden definitely aren't just the withered exotic beasts. Could it be that the exotic beasts in the 88th Star Beast Garden are the same ones on the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower? Long Yu thought to himself. Seeing that the mud-like exotic beasts were about to pounce on him, he immediately unleashed the power of the laws of Een. Een burst. The wings of Een spread out and instantly broke through the sticky force covering Long Yu's body. Then, he turned into a pitch-black figure and flew up the staircase at an extremely fast speed. Countless mud-like exotic beasts seemed to be shocked that Long Yu was actually able to break free from their sticky force. After being stunned for a moment, they all flew up one by one and chased after Long Yu. These mud-like exotic beasts were all flattened after they flew up, like kites that had been tossed around by someone. Their bodies were all wet and extremely ugly. Long Yu Fei was flying in front, but he was soon entangled by a powerful, sticky force, causing him to fall down the stairs. The staircase leading to the 6th floor was hundreds of feet long. It was undoubtedly extremely difficult to fly over like that. This was because the staircase was already covered in mud-like exotic beasts. 9th Hell Blood Shadow. Long Yu raised his hand and released his superior-grade black-level combat weapon. In an instant, the blood-colored shadow that had been infused with the Chi of 9 Hell drew lines in the air and swept towards the mud-like exotic beasts that were pouncing on Long Yu. On the staircase leading to the 6th floor, the Chi of 9 Hell that Long Yu could use was even more tyrannical. Even the combat weapon, the 9th Hell Blood Shadow, became extremely powerful. A few threads of the Blood Shadow shot out and easily tore several mud-like exotic beasts apart. Each of these mud-like exotic beasts could be said to have the terrifying strength of the human glory realm. In the outside world, even Long Yu might not be able to deal with them. But now, in the ancient Dragonbone Tower, Long Yu's understanding of the Chi of 9 Hell had reached another level. The battle weapon, the 9th Hell Blood Shadow, had been modified by the Dragon Seal of 9 Hell, so its power was naturally extraordinary. Against these mud-like exotic beasts that didn't have any special skills, the 9th Hell Blood Shadow could kill them easily. After a few mud-like exotic beasts were torn apart, Long Yu felt the sticky force on his body weakening. Let's go. Long Yu didn't dare to stay any longer. There were simply too many mud-like exotic beasts on the staircase. He performed the dance of the dragon sparrow, and the pitch-black wings on his back spread out, carrying him to the 6th floor. Under the protection of the 9th Hell Blood Shadow, Long Yu easily escaped the encirclement of the mud-like exotic beasts, and soon reached the hall on the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. An even denser Chi of 9 Hell surrounded Long Yu, making his heart race. Not bad indeed. The higher I am in the ancient Dragonbone Tower, the denser the Chi of 9 Hell filling the air. Long Yu took a few steps forward and felt that the power he possessed on the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower had increased significantly. If he were to encounter Zhan Tung and Guan Shanxiong again, Long Yu was absolutely confident that he could kill them. Right now, Long Yu was really slaughtering Renhua realm experts as if he was butchering dogs. All of this was brought about by the power in the ancient Dragonbone Tower. This made Long Yu even more curious. What exactly was this ancient Dragonbone Tower? Why was it related to the Dragon Seal of the 9 Hell? The 6th floor was the highest floor he could reach. As for the 7th floor, it was said that no one had ever come out after going up there. Long Yu wouldn't risk it recklessly. Let's look around on the 6th floor first. Long Yu pondered as he turned his head to look. Behind him, on the stairway leading up, the mud exotic beasts flew out one after another, unwilling to give up and wanting to kill him. Judging from the looks of those mud-like exotic beasts, it was as if Long Yu had slaughtered their fathers, making them all extremely furious. What grudge is this? Long Yu was puzzled, but he wasn't going to be careless. The ninth hell, Blood Shadow, which had become even stronger after coming to the sixth floor, was instantly sent flying. With a few swishing sounds, the bloody shadow lines sliced the mud-like beasts that flew out one by one into pieces. As Long Yu killed these mud-like exotic beasts casually, he connected the various phenomena after stepping into the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Suddenly, he had a thought. Could this ancient Dragonbone Tower be a cage to imprison exotic beasts? From the first to the fifth floor, exotic beasts of withered branches were imprisoned. From the sixth floor onward, even stronger exotic beasts from another world were imprisoned. This was an exotic beast cage. Who built this exotic beast cage? Long Yu was almost certain that this definitely had something to do with the dragon seal of the Nine Hell. However, he couldn't imagine who else in the Heavenly Mandate continent would have the dragon seal of the Nine Hell. Could it be that someone else really has the dragon seal of the Nine Hell and purposely built this ancient Dragonbone Tower to imprison exotic beasts? Long Yu's heart raced. No matter what, he had to figure out the secret of this ancient Dragonbone Tower. Chapter 366. In the ancient Dragonbone Tower, Long Yu's strength could be said to be unstoppable. Even if he were to encounter Renhua stage experts like Zhan Teng or Guan Shanxiong, he was confident he could finish them off in a single move. The Hades Chi on the sixth floor was simply too dense, so dense that it increased his strength by more than tenfold. Of course, even so, Long Yu didn't let his guard down at all. On the sixth floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, all kinds of exotic beasts would appear in front of him. These exotic beasts came from another world, and their combat style was completely different from the demonic beasts and martial practitioners he had seen before. If he wasn't careful, he might fail miserably in an easy task. Moreover, the exotic beasts on this floor all seemed to live in groups and had the concept of territory. For example, in the area where Long Yu had ascended the stairs earlier, there were only those mud-like exotic beasts. A large group of them were gathered at the top of the stairs. Even after ascending the stairs, there were only those mud-like exotic beasts in the vicinity. Long Yu slaughtered his way through. After walking out of that area, he arrived at the territory of another type of exotic beast and was ambushed. 8-clawed flying bats. These flying exotic beasts were covered in a metallic luster. They actually didn't look like bats, but more like flying insects like dragonflies. It was just that they were bigger and more than 9 feet long. For Long Yu, the difficulty of dealing with these 8-clawed flying bats had suddenly increased by a lot. This was because the 8-clawed flying bats were very fast, much faster than the mud-like exotic beasts from before. Even with the battle weapon, the Hades Blood Shadow, it was very difficult for him to fend off a large group of 8-clawed flying bats. Long Yu had to gather the power of the divine character in order to slay all the 8-clawed flying bats in front of him. What he didn't know was that Zhan Teng and Guan Shanxiong had also encountered a similar group of 8-clawed flying bats when they ascended, and Long Yu was probably not far from them. Unfortunately, neither of them knew that the other was nearby. When Zhan Teng and Guan Shanxiong stepped onto the sixth floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, they immediately headed in the opposite direction from Long Yu. If they knew that Long Yu was right behind them, they would definitely turn around and deal with Long Yu. However, there was no such thing as pity in this world. They didn't know that Long Yu was behind them, so they missed the chance to kill Long Yu. The sixth level of the ancient Dragonbone Tower is divided into 4 sections, namely A, B, C, and D. The exotic beasts in the 88th Star Beast Garden of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate were captured from the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Guan Shanxiong narrowed his eyes as he walked. The 88th Star Beast Garden is also divided into 4 large regions, namely A, B, C, and D. Each large region has 22 different types of exotic beasts. That's right. With our strength, we can only move in Area D. If we go to Area C, we'll definitely die, not to mention Area A and B. The tall Zhanting said, the beasts in Area D are all existences that haven't stepped into the human tribulation realm. However, the mutated beasts in Zone C will definitely have a human tribulation realm leader. We won't be a match for it. Let's go. We must be careful. The origin of the 9 underworlds on this level seems to be very far away. I'm afraid it's already out of Area D. Guan Shanxiong felt that it was a pity. Don't even think about that after leaving Sector D. No matter what, your life is the most important. Zhan Tong said. Guan Shanxiong nodded and walked forward with Zhan Tong, charging towards another group of exotic beasts. Long you didn't know about this level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda and the 4 large regions. He only relied on the attraction of the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds to move forward on the 6th level. The dragon seal of the 9 underworlds had always been of great help to him. Now that things had come to this, Long you could only trust the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. If safety was the most important thing, Long you could just turn right and head for the exit. However, since he was already here, he couldn't return empty-handed. At the very least, he had to figure out the relationship between the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda and the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. If the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds was guiding him forward, it definitely had something to do with the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda. Long you definitely wouldn't let go of this opportunity easily. One had to know that the opportunity to enter the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda only came once every 7 years. This is an exotic herb? As Long Yu walked along the passageway on the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda, he soon saw many strange-looking herbs growing in a corner. Although he had never seen such herbs before, Long Yu still plucked them and stored them in the 9 underworld space. After arriving at the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda, the surroundings were completely different from before. Perhaps because the previous few levels were dominated by withered beasts, the walls were all covered in dark green vines. However, on the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda, there were no such vines on the walls. Instead, there were various patterns and patterns. These patterns and patterns were similar to the modified dragon spear of the 9 underworlds and lunar wings. This undoubtedly made Long Yu even more certain that the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda was related to the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. He killed his way through the area where the 8-clawed flying bat was, not even noticing that he had brushed past Guan Shanxiong and Zhan Tong. All in all, the treasures on the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda were more abundant than those on the previous 5 levels. Long Yu had only walked for a short while, but he had already obtained quite a few stalks of exotic herbs and rocks formed from strange energies. Long Yu did not know what these rocks were for. They did not feel like ores, but instead had the scent of exotic beasts. Could they be something produced from some exotic beast? No matter what, Long Yu kept them in the 9 underworld space. Suddenly, Long Yu walked to a corner and sensed the aura of a powerful creature coming towards him. Long Yu was on high alert. In the next moment, a pitch-black spiky ball suddenly appeared in front of him, and a strange force struck towards him. Dot! Long Yu immediately used the dragon sparrow instant teleportation and retreated a large distance behind him. That pitch-black spiky ball-like creature seemed to be some kind of exotic beast. Although there was only one of it, Long Yu felt extremely pressured. This black spiky beast turned out to be a powerful existence that had surpassed the human glory realm and reached the human tribulation realm. Unbeknownst to Long Yu, he had unknowingly passed through Zone D on the 6th level of the ancient Dragonbone Pagoda and arrived at Zone C. That was why he could see a human tribulation realm exotic beast. I'm no match for it. Long Yu immediately determined that with his current strength, he was definitely no match for this pitch-black spiky ball-like exotic beast in front of him. Putting aside the fact that this exotic beast was at the human tribulation realm, just the large group of spiky beasts following behind it was enough to make Long Yu shudder. The spiky ball-like exotic beast that appeared first was only the leader. Behind it were dozens of similar spiky ball-like exotic beasts. None of these black spiky ball-like exotic beasts had limbs, heads, eyes, ears, a mouth, or a nose. They were like black charcoal briquettes with many needles. They floated in the air and flew extremely fast in the tunnel. Long Yu broke into a run, facing a group of exotic beasts led by a human tribulation realm exotic beast. Long Yu had no chance of winning at all. The only thing he could do now was to escape. It seems that every exotic beast group on the 6th level has their own territory. If I run to the territory of other exotic beasts, wouldn't I be able to get rid of these spiky, ball-like exotic beasts? As Long Yu thought about it, he ran away as fast as he could. Fortunately, he used the Dragon Sparrow instant teleportation to escape as soon as he saw the spiky, ball-like exotic beasts, putting some distance between them. Otherwise, he would have been caught and killed by the group of black, spiky, ball-like exotic beasts. I have to find the secret of this ancient dragon bone pagoda. In Long Yu's heart, he no longer had any thoughts about the heavenly mandate sacred selection. Given his current overall score, as long as he left the ancient dragon bone pagoda alive, he would definitely be in the top 12 of the heavenly mandate sacred selection. His main goal now was to figure out what exactly this ancient dragon bone pagoda was. Every martial cultivator who entered the ancient dragon bone pagoda had probably thought about this before, but none of them were as eager to find out as Long Yu was. Even if there had been such people in the past, none of them had ever returned after entering the 7th level of the ancient dragon bone pagoda. Ahead should be the territory of another exotic beast group. Long Yu used the Dragon Sparrow dance to advance at an extremely fast speed. Soon, he passed through a spacious hall and arrived at an area filled with resplendent crystals. These resplendent crystals were all hexagonal ice crystals. They were like mirrors, reflecting Long Yu's back. As expected, the group of spiky ball-like exotic beasts stopped chasing Long Yu as soon as he stepped in. They only lingered outside the area filled with resplendent crystals, as if unwilling to let Long Yu leave. These hexagonal ice crystals. Long Yu stepped into the area and scanned his surroundings, frowning slightly. Dragon Sparrow instant flight. In the next moment, Long Yu immediately used the move. He turned into a pitch-black streak of light and flew into the distance. As soon as he left, the hexagonal ice crystals in that area all started moving, chasing in the direction Long Yu had escaped. As expected, these hexagonal ice crystals are also a type of exotic beast. It's just that they were in a deep slumber earlier and were woken up by my arrival. Long Yu felt a wave of lingering fear. At first, he didn't expect those hexagonal ice crystals, which resembled mirrors, to be exotic beasts. Luckily, he realized this early. Otherwise, he would have been devoured by those hexagonal ice crystal exotic beasts. Despite being so far away, Long Yu could tell that there were quite a few human tribulation realm beasts among the hexagonal ice crystal exotic beasts. The deeper I go, the higher the cultivation of the exotic beasts seemed to be. This isn't good, Long Yu pondered as he ran. Right now, he seemed to be caught in an endless chase. After all, he had already broken into the territory of countless exotic beasts. None of these exotic beasts were to be trifled with. At least, with Long Yu's current strength, he couldn't face any of them head-on. The only thing he could do was to run. After leaving the hexagonal ice crystal exotic beast territory, Long Yu naturally entered the territory of another exotic beast group. It didn't take long for Long Yu to see more than 10 kinds of powerful beasts along the way. Some of the beasts were even powerful existences at the human tribulation realm. If they were in the human glory realm, Long Yu could still deal with them on the 6th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. However, the human tribulation realm was several times stronger than the human glory realm. Right now, Long Yu was no match for them at all. All he could do was keep running. A few hours later, Long Yu was completely exhausted. However, there was still a powerful exotic beast group chasing after him. After not being caught for so long, Long Yu had already used up all his tricks. But now he had no strength left in his body. No matter what tricks he had, he couldn't use them anymore. Could it be that I can only go to the 7th floor? Long Yu sensed that there were several stairs leading to the 7th floor near where he was now. Chapter 367. Long Yu was chased by group after group of powerful exotic beasts until he arrived at the staircase leading to the 7th level of the ancient dragon bone tower. To think that the direction the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds led me to the staircase leading to the 7th level. Long Yu pondered as he sensed the approaching exotic beasts behind him. If he didn't head up to the 7th level now, he would definitely die if he were to face the human tribulation realm exotic beasts head-on. Not to mention the fact that he had exhausted all his mystical chi, even if he were at his peak, and executed the great desolate grade martial skill, Dragon of the 9 Underworld's explosions, he wouldn't be able to deal with so many exotic beasts. As for the true spirit of the Dragon of the 9 Underworlds, he was unwilling to release it no matter what. Once it was released, the terrifying primordial consciousness would appear. Long Yu didn't know what kind of situation he would face. On the contrary, if he were to step onto the 7th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, he might have a chance of survival. Since the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds led me here, I'll go. Long Yu quickly made up his mind. The pitch-black wings on his back flapped, turning him into a black afterimage as he flew towards the nearest staircase leading to the 7th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Before long, the pitch-black staircase appeared before him. I'm gonna die anyway. If there are still powerful exotic beasts gathered on the staircase, I'll have no choice but to release the dragon of the 9 underworlds. Long Yu made up his mind and stepped onto the staircase. Seeing his figure disappear at the staircase, the group of human tribulation realm exotic beasts chasing him immediately stopped in their tracks and retreated in fear. What they feared was, of course, the staircase leading to the 7th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Just what kind of place was the 7th level of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower? Long Yu stepped onto the pitch-black staircase and felt an even denser aura of the 9 underworlds surrounding him. It suddenly surged towards him and surrounded him entirely. As he stepped on air, he didn't step on any stairs. Instead, he floated in midair. Immediately after, a 5-colored glow shone before his eyes, allowing him to see the space before him clearly. It wasn't a shrine like the 6th level, but an empty space filled with multicolored light. Long Yu turned around, and his heart tightened. Sure enough, there was nothing behind him except for the multicolored glow. The staircase he had just stepped in had completely disappeared. There are no walls on this floor. It's just a space made up of light. Is there really no way to leave this place? Long Yu frowned slightly. In order to leave the Dragon Skeleton Ancient Tower, one only had to follow the wall and turn right on each floor. However, there were no walls in sight on the 7th floor. How was one to leave? No wonder no one had ever left the 7th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. However, after coming to this space, the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds has become more active. Is it over there? Let's go and take a look. Long Yu continued to follow the guidance of the 9 underworlds dragon seal and flew towards the depths of the colorful glow. He could sense that the multicolored lights in the surroundings contained extremely dense netherworld energy, causing him to feel rather comfortable in this space. In such an environment, even if he were to face a human tribulation realm beast or a human tribulation realm expert, he might be able to defeat them. Netherworld chi revolved around Long Yu's body, and the pitch-black wings on his back flapped, carrying him into the depths of this multicolored space. The netherworld energy is getting denser and denser. Long Yu was constantly sensing the situation around him. Suddenly, his heart stirred. He saw that not far away from him, there was a martial cultivator's corpse floating in the midst of the multicolored light. This is the martial cultivator who entered the 7th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower and failed to leave, eventually dying in the rainbow glow. Long Yu flapped his wings and approached the corpse. He discovered that the corpse had already turned into bones, and he couldn't tell who it was at all. However, there was a crystal necklace hanging on the bones. This crystal necklace was undoubtedly a battle weapon. Furthermore, its grade seemed to have surpassed the mystic grade. Above the mystic grade is the earth grade and even the heaven grade. Could this necklace be an earth grade battle weapon? Long Yu didn't have any reservations. He took off the crystal necklace and couldn't help but frown when he felt the energy contained within it. Although the crystal necklace seemed to be an earth-grade battle weapon, he couldn't feel any energy waves from it when he held it in his hand. It was as if the energy within it had been absorbed by something. All right, this colorful glow. Long Yu's expression changed as he scanned his surroundings. He didn't notice it at first, but now that he felt it carefully, he realized that the colorful glow surrounding him seemed to have some kind of suction force that was absorbing the various energies in his body. The 7th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower was filled with this kind of energy-absorbing glow. I have to find something to attract the 9 Underworld's dragon seal as soon as possible. Long Yu gritted his teeth as he felt the energy in his body being absorbed bit by bit. He knew that he didn't have much time left. Although the glow was absorbing energy very slowly, there was no way to stop it from absorbing the energy in his body. If this went on, Long Yu would soon die of exhaustion. He had to find something that was compatible with the 9 Underworld's dragon seal as soon as possible. Long Yu could sense that it was not far ahead, floating right in the center of the colorful glow. He flapped the wings on his back and flew forward continuously. Not long after, he indeed saw the colorful glow not far ahead start to dissipate. In its place was a strange, pitch-black area. It's the aura of the 9 Underworlds. Long Yu wasn't alarmed. Instead, he was overjoyed. He had the 9 Underworld's dragon seal on him. The place that the 9 Underworld's dragon seal was leading him to was probably the place that was filled with the 9 Underworld's chi. Long Yu flew forward continuously and soon arrived at the place where the colorful glow and the 9 Underworld's chi were. He discovered that there was no conflict between the two energies and they coexisted peacefully. However, the moment Long Yu arrived at the area where the 9 Underworld's chi was, he felt something different. The 9 Underworld's dragon seal on his chest was burning hot and attracted to the center of the pitch-black 9 Underworld's chi. After arriving here, Long Yu felt that he had become one with the 9 Underworld's chi in this space. Gradually, he could vaguely sense the situation in the entire ancient Dragonbone Tower through the 9 Underworld's chi. Yin Huan, Mo, Man Xen, Tian Yutian. I've already left? With a single thought, Long Yu seemed to sense the situation on the 4th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. The people that he was concerned about were all fine and were heading towards the exit of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Chihua has also left. On the 5th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, Chihua was also heading towards the exit. It's a pity that I won't be able to deal with those two for now. On the 6th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower, Zhan Teng and Guan Shanxiong, the 2 worldly glory realm experts who had chased after Long Yu, were also heading towards the exit because the month was almost up. From their expressions, they did not seem to have gained much from the ancient Dragonbone Tower this time around. Most importantly, they did not even obtain a single piece of 9 Underworld's origin. That was something that they were naturally dissatisfied with. Amidst that blurry feeling, Long Yu approached the center of the 7th floor. In front of him, an incomparably huge dragon scale appeared in front of Long Yu. Dragon scale. The scale of a dragon of 9 Underworlds? Long Yu's expression changed slightly as he raised his head. He saw the same pitch-black patterns as the 9 Underworld's dragon seal on the dragon scale. It looked extremely ancient and exuded an endless, primordial aura. To Long Yu, the dragon scale was comparable to a tall building. It was dozens of feet wide and 5 to 6 feet thick, exuding an endless 9 Underworld's chi. This is the core of the entire ancient Dragonbone Tower, the source of the 9 Underworld's chi. Long Yu was shocked. He had not expected to see a dragon scale of a dragon of 9 Underworlds on the 7th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. There was no doubt that it was a coincidence, but it was also inevitable. If not for the fact that Long Yu possessed the 9 Underworld's dragon seal, he would not have risked his life to enter the 7th floor of the ancient Dragonbone Tower. Furthermore, even if Long Yu was here now, he would not know what to do with the dragon scale. Take it away? Even a 9 Underworlds dimension would not be able to contain such a huge dragon scale. Right, The 9 underworld chi is so rich here. Why don't I try cultivating and comprehending the laws of 9 underworlds here? Since there was no good way for him to leave this place for the time being, Long Yu could only calm down and attempt to comprehend the rich laws of 9 underworlds around him. And once time was up, the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm who had entered the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, as well as over 100 martial arts cultivators who had participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection, came out of the tower. Of the 500 people who had entered this time, over 300 people had come out. The death rate was not as terrifying as Xuanji Shanhai had said at the start. Xuanji Shanhai had been guarding the entrance of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. When a month's time was up, all the stairs leading to the second floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower were closed. This caused Xuanji Shanhai's expression to darken completely. That was because his younger brother, Xuanji Shanhai, had not come out of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. How is that possible? Did that kid forget the time? Xuanji Shanhai's expression was gloomy. 1 month's time was up. He had to come out of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, or he would die. Xuanji Tianshun would definitely know that. Senior brother Shanhai, I'm sorry to tell you that junior brother Tianshun died on the 5th floor of the tower. As for how he was killed, I did not see it clearly. At that moment, the tall Zhan Tung, a cultivator in the Renoir realm, came to Xuanji Shanhai's side. Although Zhan Tung was powerful, he still maintained enough respect in front of Xuanji Shanhai. That was because Xuanji Shanhai's martial arts realm was not something he could compare with at the moment. Dead. Xuanji Shanhai's expression froze. Even if he had not seen Xuanji Tianxin come out, he would not have been so sure that his younger brother had died. However, after hearing it from Zhan Tung himself, Xuanji Shanhai was almost certain. Who did it? Xuanji Shanhai's expression became even more gloomy. I don't know. We did not catch up. That guy left us at the top of the 6th floor. The burly young man, Guan Shanxiong, shook his head and came to Zhan Tung's side. He said, "It should not be the people who entered the ancient tower with us this time. Those disciples who participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection could not have the ability to kill junior brother Tianxin." Xuanji Shanhai did not say anything, but his eyes swept across everyone present. Long Yu did not appear. Did he really die inside? Chapter 368. The Dragon Bone Tower opened once every 7 years, and every time, the martial arts cultivators who entered would suffer heavy casualties. Even so, the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm still encouraged their disciples to enter and fight for some treasures. That was because every martial arts cultivator who came out of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower would have a much higher level of martial arts and comprehensive ability than before. Although the Dragon Bone Tower had a high mortality rate, it was also a great opportunity for martial arts cultivators. However, Xuanji Shanhai had never expected that his younger brother, Xuanji Tianxun, who had already stepped into the Renoir realm, would die in the Dragon Bone Tower. All of you must have gained something good to be able to come out of the Dragon Bone Tower. Now, the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm can leave first. Those who are participating in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection, come to me. Under the gaze of Bei Tianyi, the dean, and the other 4 supervisors, Xuanji Shanhai did not think much of it. He merely said to the crowd, according to the rules, "The final round of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection has ended. The top 12 with overall scores will be able to join the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and become our disciples." Xuanji Shanhai's words immediately made all the martial arts cultivators participating in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection nervous. All of them had gained something in the Dragon Bone Tower. It was either ores, herbs, or treasures such as the souls of exotic beasts. Who knew how many would be needed to make it to the top 12? One by one, they came before Xuanji Shanhai and the 4 supervisors and showed them what they had obtained in the Dragon Bone Tower. Yin Huanma obtained 4 first-grade treasures and 1 second-grade treasure. His overall score is 60 points. In addition to his performance in the previous rounds, his total score is 202 points. Xuanji Shanhai began to calculate the overall scores of everyone. This girl will definitely be able to join the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. The four overseers looked at each other and nodded. They had a clear idea of what to do. Man Exen obtained 5 first-grade treasures. His overall score for this round is 50 points. His total score is 190 points. Man Xion's overall score was soon out, which made many look at him in a different light. Even the 4 supervisors still remembered this unreasonable man who fought without any regard for his life. Ji Tianxi obtained 11 first-grade treasures, 6 second-grade treasures, and 1 third-grade treasure. His score for this round is 200 points. At this point, Xuanji Shanhai took a look at Ji Tianxi in the crowd. This person's performance in the ancient dragon skeleton tower had truly surprised him. Over the years, there were only a handful of people who could score 200 points in the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Ji Tianxi was truly talented. Not only that, but his combat reflexes were also outstanding. There is no doubt that even if Ji Tianxi did not get the ultimate divine palace, he would still be the first among those who participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection. Eater Gentleman, this round score is 150 points. Xuelon, this round score is 160 points. Silent Death, 80 points. When Mo Shang's score was read out, Eater Gentleman and Xuelon glanced at him. They had been traveling with Mo Shang, and they had taken turns distributing the treasures they obtained. Xuelon and Eater Gentleman both had 150 points and 160 points. It was impossible for Mo Shang to only have half. The only possibility was that Mo Shang was unwilling to hand over half of the treasures to the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate, so he had hidden them. In reality, many of the treasures obtained in the ancient dragon skeleton tower were not of direct use to the martial arts practitioners, such as ores and herbs. They were useless to them, so it was better to hand them over to the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. As for the souls of exotic beasts, each person could only absorb one. It was useless to have more. Mo Shang probably wanted to collect the souls of exotic beasts and bring them back to his clan. Moreover, even if he scored 80 points in this round, his overall score would definitely be in the top 12. Tian Yutian, this round score is 100 points. Lucio, 70 points. Soon, more people's scores were tabulated. The 12 people who can finally join our Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate are the following: Ji Tianxi, Silent Death, Eater Gentleman, Xuelon, Brother Human, and Yunzhe. These are the 6 martial arts practitioners of the Celestial Realm. In addition, among the cultivators of the rank 9 True Spirit, Yan Huan Mo, Man Xian, and Tian Yutian. The 6 of you can join our Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Lucio, Tian Yutian's brother, scored too low in this round and did not seize the opportunity to join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. This had something to do with his personality. Lucio was old and sought stability. Even if he could not obtain the treasures, he would not want to risk his life. Because of this, he was too stable, which led to his low final score. What surprised everyone was that the god-worshipping eagle from Dragon Do did not come out of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. No one knew that the god-worshipping eagle had died at the hands of Long Yu. There were also quite a number of people who found it strange that Long Yu was nowhere to be seen. However, after looking around, they realized that it was no longer strange. Long Yu had offended too many people. The chances of him encountering enemies in the ancient Dragonbone Tower were very high. It was only normal that he had not come out. The exit passage of the ancient Dragon Skeleton Tower is now completely closed. Those who have not come out are definitely dead inside. When Xuanji Shanhai said this, his face was extremely gloomy. I will not announce the list of the dead. However, if there are any of your friends among them, you don't have to wait. After saying this, Xuanji Shanhai raised his hand and prepared to leave with everyone. Long Yu did not come out. Yin Huanma swept his gaze across the surroundings again, and he didn't know what to feel. Don't worry, Sister Yin. Brother Long has always been someone who can create miracles. Who knows, he might come out soon. Man Xin comforted her, but even he did not believe what he said. Even the head of a Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate could not escape after the ancient dragon skeleton tower was closed, let alone Long Yu. Now that Long Yu had not come out, it was very likely that he had already, "I'm older than you." Hearing Man Xin say, "Sister Yin," Yin Huan Mo could not help but shake his head. "I hope I can see him again. It's all thanks to him that we were able to get to this point. If it were not for Long Yu, Yin Huan Mo and Man Xin would definitely not have been able to join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate and become disciples." Brother Long did not come out, but the three of us can help each other after joining the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Tian Yuqian caught up with the two of them from behind and patted them on their shoulders with a smile. However, his smile was full of bitterness. Long Yu did not come out, which meant that he had basically been declared dead. Moreover, Lu Xiao, whom Tian Yuqian had always regarded as a brother, was also not able to join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Tian Yuqian's wish was to join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate with Lu Xiao and become a disciple of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. However, his wish was fulfilled now, but Lu Xiao did not get this opportunity. After entering the ancient dragon skeleton tower, everyone appeared in different directions. Tian Yuqian looked everywhere, but could not find Lu Xiao. After all, the ancient dragon skeleton tower was too vast. Tian Yuqian was not happy with such an outcome. So what if he could join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate? No one could share this joy with him, so he could not truly be happy. After leaving the ancient dragon skeleton tower, the other martial arts practitioners participating in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection would all be sent back to the Heavenly Mandate continent and back to their countries. For example, Long Hen, Chu Huang, Yu Qianing, Ling Long Yu, and so on. These martial arts practitioners from the Tang Empire were nothing compared to the many martial arts practitioners in the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Naturally, they would be eliminated in this round of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Yu Qianing had originally planned to rely on Bai Shinying, but unfortunately, Bai Shinying himself had died in the ancient dragon skeleton tower, so Yu Qianing had not been able to rely on anyone during this trip to the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. He's really dead. Long Hen took one last look at the ancient dragon skeleton tower and shook his head with a bitter smile. If possible, Long Hen did not want Long Yu to die. After all, he was the son of his elder brother. However, now that Long Yu had not been able to come out of the ancient dragon skeleton tower, it was obvious that he had been killed. Long Hen was unable to prevent such an outcome. Although I did not make friends with any strong cultivators, at least Long Yu is dead. Yu Qianing shot a venomous look at Yin Huanma before she left. At this moment, Yin Huanma and Yu Qianing were no longer on the same level. Yu Qianing had been eliminated and returned to the Tang Empire, while Yin Huanma would become a disciple of the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. It was only a matter of time before he entered the Heavenly Mandate's secret realm. Logically speaking, it should be the pride of the Tang Empire for someone from the Tang Empire to enter the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. However, as a person of the Tang Empire, Yu Qianing was extremely unhappy about this, let alone proud of it. Why was she not the one to enter the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate? All of this was obviously because Long Yu had snatched the ultimate divine haul in the second round. Fortunately, that kid is dead. Yu Qianing also heaved a sigh of relief. Long Yu had a great impact on her heart, even casting a shadow on her martial arts path. Now that Long Yu was dead, she could finally try to get rid of this shadow and work hard towards the Heavenly Mandate secret realm. What a pity! The royal princess, Chu Huang, also quickly flew away with the crowd. Chu Huang felt that it was a pity that Long Yu could not come out, but it was just a pity. For her, it was even more of a pity that she was only 10 points away from entering the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. However, it was this 10 points difference that prevented her from taking that step. Ling Longyu, who wore a veil and did not speak much, was also 10 points away, but no one knew what she was thinking. What a pity that I could not kill you with my own hands, the little prince of ancient Ming. Meng Duo Kai, felt some regret and hatred as he left. Man Xian, that kid actually entered the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate's secret realm. This is not good. Our ancient Meng. Man Xian joining the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate's secret realm might change the overall situation of ancient Meng. As the little prince of ancient Meng, he had a plan ahead and take some measures to consolidate his position in ancient Meng. All the martial arts cultivators who participated in the sacred selection of Heavenly Mandate's secret realm had different attitudes, but no matter what, they would return to their previous environment. Long Yu, who had been the focus of everyone's attention from the beginning, did not come out of the Dragon Bone Tower. Some people were happy, while others were worried. Chapter 369. On the 7th floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. The exit of the ancient pagoda was closed, but it did not affect Long Yu at all. In a space filled with netherworld chi, Long Yu's comprehension of the laws of netherworld rapidly increased. After about a day or two, he had already comprehended the laws of netherworld from concept to divine charm. Judging by the time, the ancient Dragon Bone Tower should have already closed. If I want to leave, I can only try to rely on the dragon scale of the Hades before me. After Long Yu comprehended the laws of the netherworld to the divine charm level, he carefully observed the dragon scale of the netherworld in front of him. The netherworld aura in the entire space originated from this netherworld dragon scale. Can I refine it like a battle weapon? With a thought, Long Yu approached the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds, which was floating in the air. He extended a hand and began to feel the power that was being emitted from it. Gradually, he discovered that the 9 underworlds dragon seal on his chest seemed to be absorbing the 9 underworlds chi from the 9 underworlds dragon scale. Could it be that the dragon mark of the 9 underworlds on my chest is of a higher grade than this dragon scale? While thinking, Long Yu carefully sensed the changes in the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds and the dragon scale. He also guessed that everyone in the outside world would probably think that he was dead, but this did not affect him. However, he was afraid that he would not be able to join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. It makes no difference to me whether I join the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate realm or not. Long Yu shook his head and did not think too much about it. Right now, the only thing he could do was to focus on the dragon scale of the 9 abyss. After all, whether he could leave the space of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower hinged on the dragon scale. The closer I get to this dragon scale, the clearer I'll be able to sense the energy of the 9 hell, and my comprehension of the laws of the 9 hell will become slightly easier. Long Yu frowned slightly. The 9 abyss dragon seal's absorption of the dragon scale's energy was too slow. It was so slow that Long Yu couldn't feel the changes between the two. I should continue comprehending the laws of the netherworld. Long Yu couldn't do anything about the 9 underworld's dragon scale, so the only thing he could do now was to comprehend the laws of the 9 underworlds first. The laws of heaven and earth started from the concept, then the divine charm, then the power of heaven and earth, and finally, the comprehension of domain. The difficulty of comprehending the power of heaven and earth increased accordingly. The difficulty of comprehending the power of heaven and earth was at least 10 times higher than comprehending the divine charm. However, Long Yu was currently near the 9 nether dragon scale, so it was much easier for him to comprehend the laws of the 9 nether compared to when he was in the outside world. Time continued to pass in the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda, outside of the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower, with the departure of a large group of people from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate realm. No one paid any attention to it. The ancient Dragon Bone Tower would only open once every 7 years. During these 7 years, not many people would come here. After all, there was nothing in the vicinity except for the astral winds that surrounded the tower. There was no one within a radius of several hundred miles around the Dragon Bone Pagoda. No one knew that Long Yu was still comprehending the laws of the 9 serenities in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, the strongest laws of the Heavenly Mandate continent. 1 year later, on the 7th floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Long Yu opened his eyes. A frightening and strange aura emanated from his body. Endless 9 serenities aura emanated from his body. The laws of the 9 serenities. I've finally comprehended the domain. However, it seems that I can only refine this dragon scale after I enter the heavenly human secret realm. Long Yu muttered to himself. During this year, he relied on the 9 serenities aura to circulate in his body to survive. Even without food, he did not starve to death. Instead, he was full of energy. After a year of research on the dragon scale of the 9 serenities, he finally deduced that he would only be able to refine this dragon scale after he entered the heavenly human secret realm. Now that I've comprehended the laws of the 9 serenities to the domain, I'll be able to transform them into true laws of the 9 serenities. As long as I can transform the domain of the 9 serenities into laws, I'll be able to enter the heavenly human secret realm. Long Yu's eyes sparkled. During this year, he did not go anywhere, but hovered near the dragon scale of the 9 serenities. As for the area outside the netherworld chi that was filled with the netherworld chi, Long Yu didn't bother to investigate what the colorful light that could absorb power was. However, it was impossible for him to enter the heavenly human secret realm even if he stayed close to the dragon scale of the 9 serenities. He had to explore other places to see if he could comprehend something. Following this, he explored the entire 7th floor of the dragon skeleton tower and discovered that there were only 2 things in the space: the 5-colored glow and the area where the dragon scale of the 9 serenities was. The dragon scale of the 9 serenities was located at the center of the dragon skeleton tower, while the 5-colored glow surrounded it. After studying it for a long time, Long Yu still had no idea what the 5-colored glow was. However, he saw many bones floating in the space. These bones will only float in the 5-colored glow. Once they get close to the area where the dragon scale of the 9 serenities is, they will be bounced away. Long Yu thought for a moment. Could it be that martial cultivators without the dragon seal of the 9 serenities couldn't get close to the dragon scale of the 9 serenities? Because of that, other martial cultivators who had entered the 7th floor of the dragon skeleton tower would be trapped here. Not only would they not be able to escape, but their energy would also be absorbed by the 5-colored glow until they died of exhaustion, leaving only bones behind. Heavenly human secret realm. Long Yu frowned slightly. He returned to the area near the dragon scale of the 9 serenities and recalled the battles he had with the heavenly human secret realm martial cultivators and beasts. He had to break through a bottleneck in order to enter the heavenly human secret realm. Lunar. 9 serenities. Sun scorching. Long Yu raised his hand and released all the power he had comprehended from his body. Lunar domain. 9 serenities domain. Nightmare thunder force. Sun scorching intent. Lunar, nightmare thunder, and sun scorching were all powers of the heavenly steel's laws. Long Yu would probably be envied by countless people for possessing 3 powers. The laws are the most fundamental power contained in this world, said Yishiwen. By becoming one with heaven and earth, one can comprehend the laws and borrow the power of the laws. Because of that, the experts of the heavenly human secret realm have the power to surpass ordinary martial cultivators of the true spirit secret realm. Becoming one with the sun-scorching intent is probably similar to becoming one with the combat weapon. The key is to feel the rhythm of heaven and earth. Everything in the world had its own rhythm and rhythm. Feeling the rhythm and rhythm of the laws of heaven and earth was the key for a martial cultivator to break through to the heavenly human secret realm. If one could not do that, they would never be able to enter the heavenly human secret realm. Actually, it's not difficult to enter the heavenly human secret realm. Long Yu suddenly opened his eyes and raised his hand. At least, that's the case for me. In the space of the dragon skeleton tower, the rhythm of heaven and earth was completely in sync with the rhythm of the dragon scale of the 9 serenities. After the dragon seal of the 9 serenities absorbed half of the rhythm of the dragon scale of the 9 serenities, it was completely reflected on the dragon seal of the 9 serenities. In other words, as long as I carefully feel the rhythm of the dragon seal of the nine serenities, I will be able to harmonize with heaven and earth. With the help of the dragon seal of the nine serenities, Long you could easily feel the rhythm of the chi of the nine serenities. Unity of heavenly human. Long Yu's eyes shone brightly, as if they were pulsing with the rhythm of the chi of the nine serenities. In this space filled with the chi of the nine serenities, Long Yu had already comprehended the territory of nine serenities. If he still could not grasp the laws of nine serenities, he would be too stupid. The next moment, Long Yu clenched his fists tightly, and a wave of the laws of nine serenities spread out like ripples. A year ago, when he was fighting against Xuanji Tianshan in the Dragon Skeleton Tower, Long Yu had not been able to enter the heavenly human secret realm. However, at that time, he had already harmonized with the chi of the nine serenities in the Dragon Skeleton Tower. Now, a year later, Long Yu had finally made a breakthrough and entered the heavenly human secret realm. The dragon seal of the nine serenities has metamorphosed again. Almost at the same moment that Long Yu broke through the bottleneck, Long Yu felt the dragon seal of the nine serenities on his chest change again. Previously, every time the dragon seal of the nine serenities underwent a metamorphosis, it was when he broke through to the next realm. This time was no exception. The dragon seal of the nine serenities this time allowed Long Yu to clearly feel its throbbing, as if it had become his second heart. The dragon seal of the nine serenities did not impart any new martial arts techniques to him, but after this metamorphosis, he had awakened some unique memories. From these memories, Long Yu finally learned about the dragon scale of the nine serenities before him, as well as what kind of existence this dragon skeleton tower was. A long time ago, the dragon seal of the nine serenities that Long Yu had once seen had yet to be killed by the divine light. In an endless primordial void, the dragon seal of the nine serenities suddenly extended its claws and tore through the void. Immediately after, a large group of hexagonal ice crystal beasts surged out of the void. A different world. Long Yu observed the scene in his memories and was startled. The hexagonal ice crystal beasts were indeed creatures from a different world. They did not belong to the heavenly mandate continent, or even the Shenwu world. Each of these hexagonal ice crystal beasts that came from a different world possessed terrifying strength. If it were the current Long Yu, even if he had entered the heavenly realm, he would not be able to handle even one of them. However, in the eyes of the dragon seal of the nine serenities, these hexagonal ice crystal beasts were too weak. An ancient tower carved with the patterns of the nine serenities was thrown out by the dragon seal of the nine serenities. Immediately after, an endless suction force was generated, sucking the large group of hexagonal ice crystal beasts into the ancient tower. This ancient tower, it's actually a battle weapon, and it's a battle weapon used by the dragon seal of the nine serenities in the past. When Long Yu saw this, he was immediately shocked. This ancient dragon bone tower, which had imprisoned so many beasts and buried so many martial arts practitioners, was actually just a battle weapon. Moreover, through the memories, Long Yu could see that the current ancient dragon bone tower was already in ruins. It was no longer the battle weapon of the past. Even so, this ancient dragon bone tower was still extremely mysterious to the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. They could only wait for the opening time every 7 years to enter. Immediately after, the scene in the memories shifted to the inside of the ancient dragon bone tower. In the center of the ancient tower, there was a dragon scale of the nine serenities. It was the core source that controlled the entire ancient tower. The hexagonal ice crystal beasts that were sucked into the ancient tower were initially trying to find a way to escape. However, they soon realized that there was no way for them to escape at all. This ancient tower was originally built to imprison these beasts as an immemorial battle weapon. Countless species of beasts struggled to survive in the ancient dragon bone tower. Some even took root and multiplied, until one day, the entire ancient dragon bone tower was blasted open by a terrifying force. Countless beasts with terrifying cultivation finally escaped from this cage. Only a few beasts with too weak cultivation were left and were unable to break through the space to escape. They were passed down from generation to generation in this ancient tower until today. Chapter 370. Apart from the memories of the ancient dragon skeleton tower and the dragon scale, the dragon seal of the Hades that had evolved this time would double Long Yu's strength once it was activated. Not only the power of his celestial chi, but even the power of the laws of heaven and earth, as well as the power of the divine character Yu, would be enhanced. This undoubtedly made Long Yu's combat strength much stronger than that of ordinary initial human realm experts. In fact, in a head-on battle, he would not be much weaker than a human glory realm martial cultivator. The heavenly realm is divided into the human realm and heavenly realm. Each stage is split into the initial, human glory, and tribulation realms. Martial arts cultivators who have just broken through to the celestial arcane realm are all at the human initial realm. After that, their strength will be enhanced and they will step into the human glory realm. After that, they will step into the human tribulation realm. Long Yu had just entered the initial human realm. It would not be easy for him to progress further, so he did not think too much about it for now. He raised his head and looked at the dragon scale of the Hades in front of him. He raised his hand and released a thick wave of Hades laws, enveloping the dragon scale of the Hades that was as tall as a building. Refine. Long Yu had previously sensed that he had to enter the heavenly realm and comprehend the laws of Hades in order to refine the dragon scale of the Hades. It seemed that this was indeed the case. When he released the laws of Hades, he immediately established a connection with the dragon scale of the Hades, allowing Long Yu to feel the rhythm of the dragon scale. As the laws of Hades he released grew stronger, he soon established a certain level of compatibility with the dragon scale of the Hades. Withdraw. With a thought, the huge dragon scale of the Hades shrank to the size of a palm and came to Long Yu's palm. The dragon scale of the Hades was successfully refined by Long Yu using the laws of Hades. After refining, Long Yu could control the dragon scale of the Hades at will. However, it was still a little difficult to use the dragon scale of the Hades to control the entire ancient dragon skeleton tower. Of course, it was only a matter of time. As long as Long Yu studied it for a while, he would be able to control the entire ancient dragon skeleton tower easily. In just a few hours, Long Yu had figured out the situation in the entire ancient dragon skeleton tower. The 7th level of the ancient dragon bone tower, where he was currently, was the core of the entire ancient dragon bone tower. The dragon scale of the Hades controlled the entire ancient dragon bone tower. As for the multicolored light, it was some kind of slow destructive power. All the martial cultivators and beasts that were surrounded by the multicolored light would be sucked dry by the power of the multicolored light, leaving behind only a pile of white bones. It was used to protect the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds. Other than people like Long Yu, anyone else who stepped into this place would die. As for the 1st to 6th levels of the ancient dragon skeleton tower, there were completely independent spaces used to imprison exotic beasts. Each level locked up exotic beasts of different cultivations, and the 6th level was split into 4 main areas: A, B, C, and D. There are even some powerful heaven realm abnormal beasts imprisoned in Zone A of the 6th layer. Thank goodness I didn't barge in recklessly, or else Long Yu felt a lingering fear. Human tribulation realm abnormal beasts had already forced him to flee. If he had encountered heaven realm abnormal beasts, Long Yu probably wouldn't even know how he died. As for the exits of each level, they were completely sealed off from the abnormal beasts. Martial cultivators and demon cultivators could leave the ancient dragon skeleton tower through the exits, but the imprisoned abnormal beasts could not leave on their own. Of course, if some martial cultivators managed to capture a much weaker abnormal beast alive, they could also bring it out. Perhaps this was how the 88-star Beast Garden of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was formed. I'm in complete control. Long Yu finally heaved a sigh of relief when he sensed his compatibility with the space of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Now, he could leave the 7th level of the ancient dragon skeleton tower with just a thought and head to the space between the 17th and 18th levels of the heavenly spirit realm. A year has passed. The heavenly spirit winds are still raging outside. The people from the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm are definitely long gone. How can I return? Long Yu thought of this problem, so he did not choose to leave the ancient tower for the time being. It was a pity that he could only observe the inside of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. He could not see what was happening outside, so he was a little hesitant about what to do next. After refining the dragon scale of the abyss and gaining control of the ancient dragon skeleton tower, Long Yu himself had also stepped into the heavenly being realm. This caused his overall strength to leap to an extremely powerful level. At the very least, ordinary martial cultivators in the Hua realm would not be a match for him, and this was under the condition that he did not use the ancient dragon skeleton tower. The ancient dragon skeleton tower is regarded as a treasure hunting ground by the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm every 7 years. If they knew that I had taken the ancient dragon skeleton tower, wouldn't they see me as a great enemy? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He knew that he had to keep this a secret no matter what. To him, this secret was no less important than the secret of the dragon seal of the abyss in his chest. This was because if others knew that he had refined the ancient dragon skeleton tower, they would definitely guess that he had other secrets. Otherwise, how could he have refined the ancient dragon skeleton tower? If he followed the clues, all of Long Yu's secrets might be exposed. My mother is in the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, but it doesn't seem appropriate for me to go there after a year. Long Yu thought about it and knew that he should adopt some strategies. At the very least, he should first find out some specific information about the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm through appropriate methods. It was not appropriate for him to go directly to the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. However, he knew that Yin Huanma, Man Exun, and Tian Yuqian would most likely be able to join the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and become disciples. If he could find any of the three, he would be able to obtain some information. But how do I find the three of them? Long Yu was thinking of a way when he suddenly frowned. He felt that something was amiss. He used his divine consciousness through the dragon scale of the abyss and directly went to the entrance of the 1st floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. As expected, he saw a martial cultivator rushing in the tower that had not been visited for a year. The ancient dragon skeleton tower was only opened once every 7 years. Right now, this martial cultivator was clearly not here to search for treasures in the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Instead, he was here to avoid being hunted down. Heavenly Being's secret realm, Renoir realm. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. Through his control over the ancient dragon skeleton tower, he could easily see what was going on in the entire tower. The moment that person entered the 1st floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower, he entered Long Yu's line of sight. It was a middle-aged man in the Renoir realm wearing a gray robe that was stained with blood. It was clear that he had been through a huge battle not long ago. He had only come to the ancient dragon skeleton tower to avoid being hunted down temporarily. The middle-aged man was definitely not weak to be able to fly freely in the Tiangang level. One could imagine that the martial cultivators chasing after him must be even stronger. This person might be a breakthrough. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat, and he decided to help the middle-aged man this once. Forward to the 2nd floor, through the dragon scale of the deep abyss, Long Yu sent an emotionless voice into the middle-aged man's ears. The middle-aged man who had just entered the ancient dragon skeleton tower froze on the spot when he heard that voice. Who was talking to him? Doesn't the 2nd floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower only open once every 7 years? It shouldn't be opening now. How can I possibly set foot on the 2nd floor? The middle-aged man had some understanding of the ancient dragon skeleton tower and could not help but mutter to himself. Pursuers are here. Another 4 words entered the middle-aged man's ears, causing his heart to skip a beat. No matter who was talking to him, At least he knew that he couldn't let that group of people catch up to him. Otherwise, only death awaited him. Since he was going to die either way, he might as well listen to that mysterious voice for once. How obedient. Long Yu gave instructions, and the middle-aged man stepped onto the stairs to the second floor before long. At this moment, at least a dozen martial Dao experts had entered the first floor of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Among them, there were even a few human tribulation realm cultivators. Just like the middle-aged man, these people wore gray robes with 9 stars embroidered on them. Clearly, they were from the same faction. Why would martial Dao cultivators from the same faction hunt one another down? Could this middle-aged man be a traitor of the faction? Long Yu did not think too much about it. Right now, he was in control of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Through the dragon scale of the deep abyss, he was able to open the stairs to the second floor for the middle-aged man with a single thought. As for the other martial Dao cultivators who had entered the ancient dragon skeleton tower, Long Yu ignored them completely. In any case, it was impossible for them to set foot on the second floor. If they could not find him, they would probably leave right away. Right now, I can only open the path to the second floor. Furthermore, I can only use the power of the ancient dragon skeleton tower to the second floor. Long Yu could not use the power of the third floor all the way to the 7th floor for the time being. Perhaps it was because his martial realm was too low. Even so, it was enough for him to save the gray-robed middle-aged man. "What's your name? Why are you being hunted down?" Long Yu asked the disheveled middle-aged man through the dragon scale of the deep abyss. The middle-aged man only heard the voice beside his ear, but when he looked around, he didn't see anyone. He felt a chill in his heart. He hurriedly bowed towards the empty space and said respectfully, "I am Do Zicheng from the 9 Heaven Star Palace. The reason why I am being chased by my fellow sect members is because I offended an elder of the 9 Heaven Star Palace and got myself killed. That's all?" Long Yu continued to ask. "It's absolutely true. May I know your name, Senior?" The middle-aged man's forehead was covered in cold sweat as he asked. He kept looking around, but did not see anyone. Only a few withered beasts in the true spirit mysterious realm retreated rapidly after sensing the aura of the heavenly realm. What faction is the 9 Heavenly Star Palace? Long Yu ignored the other party's question and continued to ask. The reason he had saved the middle-aged man, Do Zicheng, was merely to clarify the situation and make his next move more convenient. "Senior, you don't know about the 9 Heavenly Star Palace?" The middle-aged man, Do Zicheng, was a little surprised. Then his face turned solemn. Chapter 371. Long was a little puzzled. Could it be that Jiuqian Star Palace was such a great force that he had to know about it? "You will answer whatever I ask you," Yi Zichen said. Long Yu's emotionless voice continued to reach Do Zicheng's ears. "I'm sorry for my rudeness." Do Zicheng suddenly broke out in a cold sweat and immediately replied, "Jiuqian Star Palace is a great force in the Tiangang realm, located between the 20th and 24th levels of the Tiangang realm." Soon, Long Yu roughly understood the situation of Jiuqian Star Palace. It turned out that martial arts practitioners who had entered the heavenly realm all called the sky above and around the heavenly mandate continent the Tiangang realm. In the Tiangang realm, the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute was the force closest to the Heavenly Mandate continent. That was why it was known by countless martial arts practitioners on the Heavenly Mandate continent. But in fact, the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute was not the strongest force in the entire Tiangang realm. In comparison, Jiuqian Star Palace, where Do Zicheng was slightly stronger than the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. The Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute was divided into 4 branches: East, West, South, and North, as well as the Central General Institute. Bei Qianyi, the head of the North Institute, was only at the 2nd stage of the Heavenly Mandate Secret Realm, the Tianhua Realm. After entering the Heavenly Mandate Secret Realm, it became extremely difficult for martial arts practitioners to go further. Even if one had talent, it was impossible to become stronger without opportunities. And the Palace Lord of Jotian Star Palace was a super strong cultivator in the Heavenly Catastrophe Realm. The Heavenly Catastrophe Realm was the peak of the Heavenly Mandate Secret Realm. It was only one step away from entering another super strong realm. It was even strong enough to break through the Tiangang realm and leave the Heavenly Mandate continent completely. The Palace Lord of Jotian Star Palace was such a strong cultivator, even stronger than Beitiani. Because of this, Jotian Star Palace, together with the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute and 5 other strong sects, were known as the 7 overlords of the Tiangang realm. These 7 sects all had strong cultivators in the Heavenly Catastrophe realm. The Palace Lord of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute was also a terrifying cultivator in the Heavenly Catastrophe realm. The 7 major powers were located in the 10th level of the Heavenly Dipper, all the way to the 400th level. This area was exactly the place where most of the martial practitioners in the Heavenly Realm gathered. As for beyond the 400th layer of the Heavenly Star Barrier, the environment would become much more dangerous. If one had not reached the Heavenly Flower Realm, they would definitely not be able to set foot there, or else they would lose their lives. Heavenly Dipper Realm, 9 Heaven Star Palace, Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. He finally had a rough understanding of the distribution of forces in the Tiangang realm. It turned out that the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute was not the strongest among them. I wonder where my father is right now. Let's not worry about that for now. The most important thing now is to see my mother. Thinking of this, Long Yu asked Dou Zicheng if he knew anyone from the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. When Dou Zicheng heard Long Yu's question, he could not help feeling a little strange. From what Long Yu had just asked, Dou Zicheng felt that this senior who had saved him knew nothing about the situation in the Heavenly Dipper realm. But now he asked if he knew anyone from the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Could it be that this senior had something to do with the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate? I don't have any familiar friends in the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. Moreover, I have now offended the elders of 9 Heaven Star Palace. Even if I go to the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate, I might be tied up by them and sent back to 9 Heaven Star Palace. Dou Zicheng looked a little sad. He grew up in 9 Heaven Star Palace and cultivated. His parents also died because of 9 Heaven Star Palace, which made him have a very special feeling for 9 Heaven Star Palace. But now, he could not go back to 9 Heaven Star Palace, which undoubtedly made him very depressed. That is to say, you have nowhere to go now? Long Yu asked. Well, that is right. Dou Zicheng nodded and asked, May I know your name, senior? He still did not give up and wanted to figure out Long Yu's identity. That would make things easier, but unfortunately, Long Yu would not give him this opportunity. Then you can stay in this Dragon Bone Tower for now. Long Yu said directly, Senior, are you willing to take me in? Dou Zicheng's face lit up. Although Long Yu did not tell him his identity, he was undoubtedly very grateful that he was willing to take him in. After all, he had nowhere to go now and would be captured by the people of that elder of 9 Heaven Star Palace sooner or later. Now that this senior was willing to take him in, it meant that he could at least keep his life. There was still a chance for things to turn around. Stay, Long Yu said emotionlessly. After that, he didn't speak anymore. Of course, he would not reveal his identity. At least for now, it would be more advantageous for Long Yu to let Dou Zicheng maintain a kind of respect for the mysterious expert. After that, Long Yu no longer paid attention to Dou Zicheng. Dou Zicheng was already an expert of the heavenly human realm and could circulate with heaven and earth. He could survive for a long time without eating, so he would just stay on the 2nd level of the Dragon Bone Tower for now. After a few days, the group of 9 Heaven Star Palace martial cultivators who were chasing after Dou Zicheng could not find any traces of Dou Zicheng as they could not set foot on the 2nd level. Since their search was fruitless, they could only leave the Dragon Bone Tower. How unlucky. I wonder where that kid is hiding. We still haven't found him after so many days. Leave one person to guard the exit. The rest go back and report to the elder. I'll stay. If Dou Zicheng appears, I'll definitely come back with his head. These people were very enthusiastic about staying behind to guard the exit. After all, everyone knew that if they could capture Do Zicheng, the Elder would definitely give them a lot of rewards. For the sake of these rewards, they fought to stay behind. In the end, a Renoir realm martial cultivator with 2 swords on his back got the chance. Everyone left, leaving the Glory State cultivator with 2 swords on his back to guard the exit of the Dragonbone Tower. Long Yu felt that the group of martial cultivators from 9 Heaven Star Palace left one after another. As for whether they had gone far, he could not be sure. After all, he could not sense what was happening outside the Dragonbone Tower. To be on the safe side, he waited for a few more days before he decided to set off. With my current martial arts realm, I can do whatever I want around the Tang Empire and even in places like the North Sea Kingdom. Long Yu thought to himself. His next goal was to find his mother, Bei Yu Yao, and then look for traces of his father, Long Ziqian, in the heavenly realm. To accomplish these things, there would be many dangers. Not to mention other things, just the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was his greatest enemy. If someone from a Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm knew that he was still alive, they would definitely obstruct him and even send cultivators to kill him. I'll go to the Demon Kingdom of the Soul Valley first and find Wang Chongfeng to ask about some things. Then, I'll go back to the Tang Empire to have a look. Long Yu had decided on his itinerary. Now that he had no chance to go to the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm to find his mother, he could only complete other things first. At the very least, he had to make sure that everyone in the Tang Empire was fine. Moreover, now that he had come into contact with some things about the Heavenly Realm, it was time to go to the Demon Kingdom of the Soul Valley and find the old man Wang Chongfeng in the Bone Abyss to figure out some things. If he wanted to travel in the Heavenly Realm, there must be many things that he needed to know. The old man must know many secrets. Dragonbone Tower, absorb. Long Yu moved his mind, and the laws of the 9 underworlds flowed directly into the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds. Immediately afterward, he felt the entire Dragonbone Tower shrink rapidly, sucked in by the power of the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds. In the blink of an eye, there was only a black dragon scale of the 9 underworlds the size of a palm left beside him. As for himself, he appeared directly between the 17th and 18th levels of the heavenly realm. I'm out, Long Yu sighed. After leaving the 7th level of the Dragonbone Tower, there was no Hades chi around him, making him feel as if he had left his home and lost the feeling of being in control of everything. In the ancient Dragonbone Tower, Long Yu's strength was much stronger than in the outside world. This was because of the netherworld chi in the surroundings. He's still here? Just as Long Yu was thinking of a way to leave this place, he suddenly saw a martial cultivator with 2 swords on his back looking at him in shock. Long Yu recognized that the martial cultivator with 2 swords was one of the experts from the 9 Heavenly Star Palace, a mortal elite realm expert. In the eyes of the mortal elite realm martial cultivator, the entire Dragonbone Tower behind him had suddenly disappeared, replaced by a young man who had just entered the heavenly realm not long ago. Why would the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda disappear for no reason? The mortal elite realm martial cultivator could not figure it out. Regardless, when he saw that Long Yu was the only mortal elite realm martial cultivator present, a sinister smile appeared on his face. Kid, who are you? A mere mortal elite realm martial cultivator is able to make it here? And who are you? Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he asked. At the same time, he was estimating his chances of winning against this person. I'm from the 9 Heavenly Star Palace, your master Yuan Haoning. The martial cultivator with 2 swords on his back said in a condescending tone, Kid, if you know what's good for you, hurry up and tell me your name. Otherwise, I'll bring you back to the 9 Heavenly Star Palace and interrogate you properly. Do it. Right then, a cold glint flashed through Long Yu's eyes, followed by a pair of pitch-black wings spreading out from his back. Dragon Sparrow Instant Space. Long Yu's figure flashed, and he appeared beside Yuan Haoning. At the same time, he gathered the nomological laws of Hades and threw a punch at Yuan Haoning's chest. Drunken Yellow Springs. Long Yu's punch caused the Yellow Springs explosion to engulf Yuan Haoning. After estimating the strength of both parties, Long Yu felt that he could definitely defeat Yuan Haoning with his current strength. Therefore, he did not hesitate to launch a sneak attack. Yuan Haoning had not expected that the young man in the mortal elite realm would dare to take the initiative to attack him. His reaction was half a beat slower, and he was surrounded by the Hades explosion. The nomological laws of Hades wreaked havoc, causing Yuan Haoning to roar and release all of his celestial chi. After all, Yuan Haoning was a mortal elite realm martial cultivator. In the outside world, Long Yu's nomological power of Hades was not as strong as it was in the Dragonbone Tower. Even when he attacked Yuan Haoning with the Hades explosion, he could not kill him in a single blow. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.